Hello and welcome back to the Everwind Chronicles. I am Doug, your dungeon master, and we are a group of friends and storytellers telling you a story through Dungeons and Dragons. So, the party, as part of the rebellion, the rebellion had been attacked in the middle of the night. A devastating attack that left 9 out of 10 estimated rebels either killed or captured. And according to Adris, the leader, the rebellion is basically done. And he gave, after meeting up later, he gave the party one last mission. As he said, he was going to do one last thing himself to give the people of Lyrandil the chance to capitalize on the things that have been happening lately, including the death of Leader Tilden and the possible betrayal of General Cray to help the rebels. He announced that he was going to kill the people's king, Morthag. He then tasked the party with killing the court wizard Ariziah, who is, in his estimation, even greater a threat, and must be a greater threat to Lyrandil and must be dealt with. The party, of course, had discovered Ariziah seemed to be the source of the creation of monarchs, the particularly powerful individuals that they know had been essentially tortured and brainwashed into what they are, and granted unusual abilities via darkfire. So they made their way into Ariziah's keep, making their way past various obstacles and hazards and puzzles, through laboratories and bypassing a number of things that they wanted to check out, but just either deemed the risk too high or the time too short. Until the party reached a section called the Chrysalis, which included some of those laboratories, including a huge laboratory dedicated to alchemy and herbalism and other various things seemingly related to the monarchs, at least partially. And then a section within the Chrysalis called the Cocoons, which seemed to be a series of specialized cells that seemed to contain all the monarchs. They found empty cells for some of the people they had run into in the past, including Belladonna and Vander Rixa, the twins from the first arc of the campaign. Igra, the strange girl they fought on a ship, which they then realized the sword that they took off of her had slowly been turning Bear into a sociopath. They found one for Ethlyn, the one who had a bunch of duplicates. They found some others that they didn't recognize that were partially through the process. They found an empty one for Hartissa, the kind of spider-like lady that they fought in the rebel attack. They found one for their long-lost friend Lope, who had apparently made an attack on the keep but failed and was captured but escaped before the process could really get going too far. They also found, as they entered the fourth such chamber, they had 2 of the cells seemed to be occupied, one with a nearly pitch black cell with an individual standing with his back to the door, almost perfectly still in the middle of that darkness, listed as a shadow elf, named Azirex, a shadow elf, something nobody had ever heard of, with a black bow hung out with a note basically saying that it's ready for attunement, or not attunement, ready for usage. Across from that was another cell for subject 170, a nameless girl with long white hair, whose cell was covered in threads, some of them very clearly starting in a very complex pattern of weaving, but then slowly getting worse in quality and falling off, and none of the patterns ever being finished. They there were a number of notes demonstrating that this subject did not react the same way as every other mortal race that they had put through the Monarch program, to the point that it was halted and they were going to need to rethink some approaches on what to do with her. But she demonstrates strange powers, but unpredictably, even with pretty intense pain or situations designed to evoke a reaction. She just doesn't seem to react in predictable ways. Yet seems to be very unaggressive. The party tries to interact with her briefly, and she just doesn't seem to be all there. With perhaps a disturbing comment that everything is on fire, or everything is burning. Zenoa even tries to read her thoughts briefly and almost loses herself in a nearly infinite collage of images flashing through her mind of all these different seemingly unrelated scenes and objects and people, many of which were slowly beginning to be consumed by darkfire. So, as they pull back, they left the door no longer dispelled, so it doesn't even close. Left her in the now opened cell, but are still in this chamber deciding what to do next, and that's where we'll pick things back up.
We just had the vision too from...
Oh yeah, that's true. The last thing we saw was that they were suddenly pulled into a vision seemingly sent by Adris, showing a unusual perspective as he made his attack on the People's King, waging a pretty intense battle, destroying his entire guard and one of the higher ranking war mages in the nation, then dueling with the king himself, who had apparently been studying magic in secret. And after finally felling the People's King, the People's King also made his last words being that I meant well, history will understand, and Adris saying, history will understand you meant nothing. And then stabbed him through the neck up into his skull and set his head on fire. Adris, the last thing they saw was Adris standing there amidst the carnage and corpses with a pool of blood, his own blood growing around his feet, trembling from his injuries as he puts his hand out and snaps, and their vision snaps back to themselves. And they know and understand the message that they are almost out of time. This city is about to explode. So, what would you like to do?
Abuelita didn't see any of that. She just saw Yuko slack face sort of reacting. So she has cast a spell to pull the darkness around us so that everyone is a little bit more hidden, even though we're alone in the chamber. Okay. And then is just pacing back and forth, looking at each of you to make sure you're okay and making sure no one else is in the room.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Roll that. 13.
Okay. They seem to be just not frozen, but just standing in place. You did hear Enthris say, "Give us a second."
Yeah.
As they all apparently shared this vision. But you don't hear anything else.
Okay.
It's honestly even eerie that you don't hear anything from the 2 occupied cells that you know of.
Yeah.
In this very quiet environment. But after a few minutes, they return.
We are running out of time fast.
Yeah, let's go. There's a door leading out of this room, correct? Like right by I'm going to go ahead and check it for traps. And
Did you
then
cast magic darkness?
I cast
Oh.
Pass Without a Trace on us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
But because I'm connected to
about to lose it.
the night sky and the dark, darkness,
Yeah.
I've just
Been
pulled like
really
the night
bad.
sky around us, clinging in the shadows towards you, basically. So no,
do
we're not
love
in darkness.
I do love a good shadow.
Okay, so
I'll help you.
you go up and check the door. Roll an investigation check.
okay. 26. 27. I keep forgetting about the plus
27?
one. Yep.
Okay. Doesn't seem to be trapped or any magical element to the door.
Okay.
And is not locked.
Pushing right on through.
Okay.
So we have Pass Without a Trace on right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you trying to move stealthily?
Well, what's in the next room? When I open the door, I'm not pushing through yet, but like when I open the door, what do I see?
Okay. On the other side of the door, you open out into a hallway, perpendicular to you. That's, fairly dark. It's got some very dim lights periodically, but it's a fairly dark hallway. It extends quite a ways in either direction. You can see in the distance some doors leading off in a few places. This door that you open being kind of a heavier metal door, it's like it's strange, you can tell that it's a very thick, weighty door, but opens really easily. You see, to your left, you see a ways down, you see a door that looks very similar to this one. You'd probably guess it's probably one of the other sets of cocoons. But kind of in between those two doors and across from it, you see a door that seems almost out of place from what you've seen so far in this keep, which has been a mix of stone or thick wood doors or metal or things like that. And this one is wood, but it's very nice, like a really nice polished dark wood with patterns and just kind of not seemingly meaningful patterns, but just design on it.
Ornate.
Kind of carved into it, and with a doorknob that's looks golden. Just kind of stands out.
And there's something that's to the right, other than like a series of
Just
standard
like
doors.
quite a ways down, you see a door, here and there, and it's a
Do we get the
decently long
tingles from
hallway.
this door the way that we have so far?
Where are you going out into the hallway?
Yep, I am.
Yeah, I'll go with him and I'm monitoring for traps.
Okay, roll a perception check.
I'm gonna put a hand on your shoulder and cast guidance. I don't know who's doing that, but yeah.
Okay, assuming you all are in the hallway now.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all trying to
Yeah, I'll help you out with that. I'll help you out with that one.
Yeah.
That is going to be, perception is going to be plus 13, so that's 26, 29?
Mm-hmm.
29. Let's see, what's my math?
The 29, you don't see any immediate traps or anything like that. On the wooden door, you do see. Make an Arcana check for me, real quick.
Both of us.
You still got your cloak that helps with that, right? Okay.
That is
Yeah, you can too. You can help her or pick
That's
it
going to
yourself.
be an 18
I'll help her out with it.
Arcana.
Okay. You said you're helping.
Yeah, I'll help her out with that one.
So you can roll again if you want for advantage.
Oh, that's cocked. That's still going to be
Okay,
an 18.
Okay. You see a faint outline of what looks like runes for spells, but you feel like they're not activated at the moment.
Okay, I'll point that out to our magic people, because I'm like, I don't really know much about magic, but it looks like runes, but it doesn't feel like they're turned on right now, so...
Sure.
Just gonna...
I'll take a look.
Okay. Roll an Arcana check.
Not one.
Still shook it
Yeah.
from the
see what you
experience. Yeah.
I'll
It's probably fine.
Probably fine.
Well, up at the door.
Say again.
I was getting ready, so I'm gonna go push in, but finish your thought first. I want to hear what the DM says before I make a decision.
Yeah. As you get closer, though, you do hear voices. Some muffled voices on the other side, so you can stop and try to listen.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna put my ear up against the door.
me too.
roll a perception check, both of you.
No, it's a 7 for me.
That's 17 plus 13, so that's
30.
30.
Yep.
I love having a plus 13 perception. Let me tell you what.
And you rolled what?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, to you it's mostly muffled, but you hear Ariziah's voice say, "Report." And you hear another voice that you haven't heard before. It says, "Yes, the Angel of Luck's powers extended further than previously postulated. The angel was able to guide them through the illusory door trap, gave them guidance to solve the endless rooms, and seemed to give them some ability to know their route as they passed through the room of entitlement and the chrysalis. A note of interest: the angel's power seems to focus as a vague sort of compass more than true intuition. For example, they had a vague sense of where to go, but seemingly no uncanny knowledge of things like puzzles. The endless rooms and the gear door still needed to be solved. So, as expected, they will arrive any moment now." And you hear Ariziah say, "And have they caused any serious damage?" "There is some minor damage to the blind terror. A few minor items taken from the room of entitlement. Researcher Tiss was killed. And the door to Subject 170's cocoon has been dispelled. Also of note, they did take the protected note from Subject 161's cocoon and seem to be able to read it." And Ariziah says, "Very good. Do you have the notes on all of this?" And, "Of course, sir. Thank you. Please ensure the scribes notate properly and mark this experiment a success. Please mark the angel for our next round of hypothesis development. First, please activate 9 of the 10 contingency runes and await my command. Please keep me abreast of the outcomes of the attacks." Then you hear acknowledgement from the other voice, which you don't hear any more from, but then you hear Ariziah say something else. Roll another Arcana check for me.
That is
Or
my
history. I'll let this be history as well if you prefer. Whichever is-
18. That's another 18.
There's something about it that sounds familiar. With an 18, yeah, you've heard this once before. Igra, the girl you fought on the ship, said this right before a wall of force appeared between separating your party.
About what?
He just cast a spell.
A wall of force?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just whisper really quietly about the spell. Sounds like the same one that Igor did. I wasn't here for some of this, so I don't remember. I was like, I don't remember what this is about.
I don't remember what that did to us either.
When you were fighting on the ship against Igra,
Yeah.
Easy and some others were up on the upper level of the ship, and the rest of them down with Igra. Several of you were down, and Igra cast a wall of force separating off, cutting the party in half effectively with a seemingly like a wall of force that seemingly nothing could pass through. The only reason basically you didn't have a TPK in that fight was because he had already cast Bigby's hand, which was already on that side of the wall,
Yeah.
and was able to
Legit,
finish
I
her
remember
off.
that.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So if I open this door, we're gonna get real fucked up, possibly.
Yeah, depending on where he cast it.
But there are also runes in. We're in this room. We're in this hallway.
Around the door.
Around the door, but you don't think they're activated at the moment.
So if I open the door, it's not the door itself that would be the issue. It's whatever he cast
Yeah, that's
inside.
what we're gonna find in the next room.
But I don't know where he cast Wall of Force.
Okay.
And I don't know how to, like, know where it was cast. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that we're short on time, and this is the reason we came here.
Should you sneakily rush in?
We just have to be careful not to hit it, right?
We won't know what's going on until we go in there. Does anybody have any last minute?
Prep?
Yeah. I don't just want to push through if somebody's.
Yeah, do what you need to do.
I don't have anything.
I don't think I have anything that I need to do.
I got the vulnerability, but I haven't looked at the health or anything.
I don't think I could cast anything until we look through the door, because I could technically find traps and see if I could see exactly where a thing is, like if there are runes that are just ready to be activated. Inside there I could see maybe that, but other than that I can't. I don't have anything else to...
You might as well save what you have, because this fight is not going to be an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ready?
There we go.
Prepare themselves.
Interesting thing as you take a pause to prepare and look around and make sure everybody's ready to go. You notice Enthris has the bow strapped to her.
She grabbed it.
Endress!
Yeah.
I love her so much.
I thought about it for a hot
Yeah,
second.
I did too. Believe me, I was like, "Ugh."
You didn't want it.
Well,
It suits you. Okay.
depending on how it works, we might make a trade of something very important later.
She wanted it. She just
Depends on how much I like it.
She let her fear get a hold of
I
it.
promise you, Endress,
I said I needed a ranged weapon.
Endress, I promise you will like what I have to trade you later. Are we ready?
Yep.
I got my bow.
We're already knocked.
Yeah, we're all knocked. Ready? I just
Okay.
turn the door. I'm opening the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, you guys make your way through the door.
Mm-hmm.
On the inside of the door, you see a kind of long, essentially a very large kind of two-chamber office, where you see in the first chamber, you see a number of like tables of various shapes, kind of lining the kind of central walkway. At a glance, you would guess they seem to be kind of like tables you might have things laid out on, or like examining or working on things. At the moment, they're all empty. But you get the impression this is sort of like a personal workspace of sorts for him. Ahead, you see where, it kind of narrows and there's like an entryway into the second chamber, which has several kind of long desks or tables, if you prefer, in this area, along with a chalkboard with some very complex calculations on it. You see other workspaces and large vats of liquid and of different colors and kinds. You see just things. You see like the beginnings of like a glass enclosure with like a little door walking into it with some other kind of work inside of it. You see some bookshelves and things like that. Just like large collection of things, and you can't really see because of the narrower entryway. You can't see the whole area in there, but you usually get the impression there's a lot of things, in that area where it seems to be his main office, where he does a lot of his own personal projects and research. You see across this kind of multicolored tile in front of you is a long, intricately woven carpet with like this tree that kind of weaves in and out forward with lots of strange creatures at different points on the tree, from dragons to what looks like fae to other creatures you don't recognize to all sorts of things. It's just a very strange kind of branching tree. Very large, very, very well woven. Honestly, a very impressive piece of art in this carpet. And then in that second chamber, you see Ariziah himself in similar attire to what you saw at the gala. Just those kind of simple black clothes with like a red sash across the front and some red highlights here and there. And as you enter, he notices you and walks up towards the doorway and says, "Welcome. I believe I owe you an apology. Our last conversation did not end well, and for that I apologize. It was a strange display of emotion for me, which led me to review the information collected by certain devices I utilized to monitor my person, and found that certain magics that tend to manipulate fate had influenced me. I hope that this conversation will remain calm, as I believe calm communication progresses the world far more effectively than emotional displays. And I would hope that we might parley for a moment."
What's that one look at me?
Because usually you're the first one that strikes! And I'm trying to gauge if you want me to shoot him or not!
Can I assume that you're associated with the attacks on the Hall of Champions?
Were we?
Mm-hmm.
We're not entirely sure.
Curious.
Well,
We may speak frankly here, far more frankly than we were at the gala. You have no need. I think we are past the point of any repercussions that might occur due to misspoken words.
well, if that's the case, what is your intent and plan behind the darkfire?
I see you cut to the chase.
You said we could speak frankly.
Indeed. Darkfire represents hope. You recall in our previous conversation that my goals are to further the mortal races, to see their good done and to see their causes furthered and their survival ensured. Yes?
I remember that point of view.
Darkfire has yielded far more beneficial research than the Monarch program that I believe you're somewhat familiar with at this point. For example, it has enabled research that is now in the late stages for the protection of crops against disease, pests, and undesirable weeds. It could represent the end of famine as we know it. I have designs to use it at a high-level, repeatable healing magics, the kind that could keep even the common folk from dying from wounds, overcoming the problems of cost, skill, and availability that exists with existing healing potions and magics. I have a hypothesis on its ability to eliminate distraction, allowing for intense focus and increased learning, allowing for rapid, deep education. Imagine a world where even a farmer is capable of understanding higher maths, deep philosophies, and complex logic. Imagine what the mortal races could build with such intellectual abilities. But there is something more important. Tell me, in your travels and your experiences, have you had many encounters with the immortal creatures of this universe?
We've spoken to a few.
And have you found them on the net to be positive?
Yes. Other than a few select fey creatures.
Indeed. Then you are incredibly fortunate. The plains contain creatures of unfathomable power. The Fae that affect you, the devils and demons, celestials, aberrant creatures from strange planes beyond, beings beyond understanding, beings of such power that it were any one of them to break free of their current restrictions and various stalemates, were, for example, Asmodeus to escape the 9 hells, or the mother of demons from the abyss, were a single great old one to turn its attention on the material plane in full, were a paragon to once again forsake Celestia and turn to destruction, were any one of the rulers of the Fey courts to leave their courts. The mortal races may be nigh hopeless before them. Even if there are no gods, there are certainly creatures far more powerful than any of us. Darkfire is the key to balancing those scales and protecting mortality from the immortal. You ask me to sell mortality's greatest hope. I would ask why you desire it and what you intend for it.
We intend for it not to be used. I understand that in your mind, your intentions are for the greater purpose, but at what cost? Because you are selling your destruction and murder with what-ifs. Asmodeus is not released. The Great Ones have not turned their attention to us. I understand that these may be possibilities, but they've always been possibilities, and here you are, a mortal, thinking that you found the answer and are killing millions of people just for your experiments of what-ifs.
A curious perspective, but you tilt your hand as uneducated. Have you not heard of the great demon invasion from 1,000 years ago?
Have I?
You've heard bits of
Okay.
it, yes.
Okay.
Isn't that
I'm like,
shield? Isn't that your shield buddy?
Like, I'm pretty well read. Okay. This
Yeah,
is
your
the
shield actually
okay,
talked about it.
never mind. Then yes, yeah. Then yes, we've had dreams of it.
The greatest empire this world has ever known was never able to recover from that invasion. That invasion killed nearly 1/3 of all life on this world. From one breach from the abyss. Letting loose creatures who will stop at nothing until all is destroyed. They have no standards, they have no morality, they have nothing to disagree with. They seek only chaos and destruction.
But from our point of view, so do you.
Then you have not listened to what I have said.
So, was it you and your darkfire that was responsible for the undead attack on our country?
No.
No. So you had nothing to do with the what's their names?
The Rixos?
With the Rixos. And
Not
Belladonna.
directly. Kotor Greenwood and I made a single trade. That was the extent of our relationship.
And what was that trade?
He gave me an item of great value that is one of a kind, and I have utilized since for unrelated research, non-necromantic endeavors. In trade, I gave him 2 monarchs. What he commanded those monarchs to be and do is completely up to him. I had no hand in what happened to Carondia. In truth, I have no interest in Carondian politics or its future as a nation.
So you created the tools that nearly wiped a country from the map, and you have no responsibility and no guilt.
Indeed. Much as a blacksmith cannot be held responsible for what a criminal does with his sword.
If he's the one that gives it to the criminal, knowingly.
I did not know what he would do with them. I did not ask. That was not part of our arrangement. His endeavors were small and small-minded.
The blacksmith thing does not apply. Because another person can also gain access to the same weapon from any other blacksmith. Sure, one blacksmith may have slightly better quality metal, but they all have access to the same resources. And they all, for the most part, understand the same mechanics of building weaponry. You have a knowledge that no one else has.
A curious perspective from a group that seems to be possessing all manner of unique and powerful magical artifacts.
Correct.
That very few people in the world have access to.
Correct. And we're not battling the common man. We are battling people with different and very, very powerful magics.
As am I.
So therefore, it is not an apt metaphor.
I'm afraid your logic fails.
Sure, if you think that. I think you're too narrow-minded in the way you look at things.
Before we make any judgments or actions, let me ask you one question. Have any of your monarchs contributed positively at all in this world? Because everyone we've ran into has left nothing behind them but death and destruction.
Yes, but I also fully admit to them being an experiment. All experiments are imperfect, and they must progress. Just as an arrow might misfire, or an archer might misfire as he gets better at archery. Science is no different. Everything used must be perfected, and there is room for error. I will fully admit this. But yes, many people have been protected. Many criminals have come to justice. Many evils have fallen to these servants, but they are only just getting started.
Do you condemn the actions of Greenwood, whatever his name is, and what he did?
I believe him to be a selfish individual who pursued his own power and what I imagine to be simple conquest. Something I do not believe is advantageous to humanity on the whole. On that regard, no. I think his was a waste of talent.
You don't condemn it.
I do not agree with what he did. I think it was a waste of
Simple
time.
yes or no. Do you condemn it or no?
It was a waste of time and talent
No.
and life.
We're getting nowhere.
I was saying I do condemn his ultimate decisions and the way he implemented things.
So do you intend to make a trade in the future? Just like you did? Just offhanded? Hope it works out.
All trades are a matter of risk and reward.
You clearly didn't do your research with Greenwood.
He was introduced to me
By who?
by the one who gave us darkfire.
And who would that be?
Well, that is information that I suppose is negotiable.
I thought we were speaking plainly.
Well, plain conversation and negotiation are two different things. We have not yet entered into negotiation. Yet I am certainly open to it. I think that if we are able to come to some sort of understanding to end things peacefully and meet all of our goals, that would be advantageous to humanity on the whole. I do not wish to waste time or resources or potential risk in combat with you, and I think you do not quite understand what you face in facing me. And while you might defeat me, you will certainly not leave unscathed or without loss. We both claim to be doing, to have humanity's good in mind. To my thinking, if two scientists are pursuing, let us say, the end of disease, they might pursue it in different ways, but it is far better for them to both be allowed to pursue it. The world will benefit from a variety of research methods. A variety of research methods which will aid and help each other. And the world will benefit, rather than a simple argument over who is better and the world only getting half of the research it could have. In the same way, if you claim to be protecting humanity, as I certainly am, then perhaps we can part ways amicably and allow us both our own separate pursuits.
Do you have a system or research behind you, some sort of scientific knowledge of how to make all of humanity intrinsically good? Because your entire system assumes that the use of darkfire will be used for the greater good. You're 0 for 1 on that when it comes to Carandia.
And here.
0 for 2.
Darkfire is much like a hammer or a nail. It is a piece of the construction of a house, but it is not the entirety. It is a useful tool. But houses can be built without it, but no one can argue that houses are built more effectively with it.
Hammers can't burn down the entire world.
Hammers are capable of quite more than people understand.
I think we may have approached this incorrectly and maybe misled you. This is not a negotiation. This is not a conversation. We are here to end you, and will so, unless you, by some miracle, can convince us otherwise. This is not a trade.
All things are trades.
No.
Everything is a weight of risk and reward, and what is worth doing
So what
anything
is
you do.
worth your life? Because that is what is at risk here. If you don't come up real quick with a reason or information or something that makes your life worth sparing, this ends now. This conversation of running in circles with your madness, trying to convince us that you are doing the right thing in the right way, is pointless.
I would speak at two levels in answer to your question. The first, which is the truth, is that I am one of a very few group of individuals with the intellectual capability to figure out such grand problems. There are very few with the dedication, self-control, discipline, and capability to do so. As a point, How many hours of research have you spent in investigation into deeper philosophies to weigh these moral problems you pose?
We're here on behalf of a man that already does as much as you do, so keep going past.
Oh, so you are here as a slave, not as a thinker for yourself.
Again, you're running in circles. This is not winning you.
There's no
life.
circle here. We have not covered this territory before. Except to say that you have confessed in our previous conversation to doubts yourself about the gods. Yet you negotiate like someone beholden to one.
So you have nothing to offer for your life.
Is there anyone perhaps with more patience in this group who is not at the patience of a toddler, who might engage at an intelligent level that might greatly benefit you? I see, via some of the magics that I have on this place, some of the things afflicting you. I can help with this. I can offer you things that you will find nowhere else. I can give you tools to go further with your own causes than you would ever be able to accomplish on your own. The first level that I was attempting to explain, which is the truth, is that the universe has a far better chance with me left be than it does without. And I find the people who have not done the rigors of thinking on their own to sit in moral judgment on those who have done that thinking to be the epitome of arrogance. You who sit there and complain about how other beings or other people make decisions but refuse to step up and make those decisions yourself. You who would happily slay a king but not step into the throne yourself. You are hypocritical, you are lazy, and arrogant beyond measure. To the rest of you,
But I'm affected.
let me speak at... Yes, as is darkfire. That is not the point. You yourself argue that the tool needs to be pointed in the right direction.
Mhm.
So do the work of understanding where you should be pointed.
I leave that to my betters.
You're speaking to one. On the second level, which would be perhaps more to your intellect, I am told, perhaps one of the more important things to you, I am told that the individual who was traveling with the Ruby Judge, a monk of the Emerald Dragon, was once a companion of yours. These reports correlate with reports out of your activities in Carandia. I can ensure his safe and prompt return to you. Whole and healthy.
Is that because you're the one who took him?
I took no one.
The Ruby Judge herself lost him.
I suppose that is between her and anyone she associates with.
She associates with you. You
Minimally.
You seem to be confident about finding him and returning him safely, which could only lead me to believe that you had something to do with his disappearance.
Regardless, I can ensure his return.
Regardless.
I can also, for your association with the rebellion, I can ensure my departure from Lyrindil immediately. Never to return.
So you'll just go stir up rebellion and slaughter in some other country?
I have stood up no rebellion.
No. But you helped enact the laws and causes of it.
The people and I had agreements. Our goals did align in certain ways that were mutually beneficial. But I was never part of Morthag's revolution. Again, such national politics do not interest me. But they interest you. They interest your associates. So I can assure you that I will leave and never return. I can offer wealth. More wealth than you are likely to achieve in the rest of your entire life. The sort of wealth that can hire armies that can fight your battles for you. Wealth can accomplish a great many things that you would consider good. You wish to see poverty ended in your home city of Elduin? That can be done. It is possible, but expensive. You wish to build houses for them all? You could do it. You wish to ensure security against any further necromantic activities that might plague Corandia in the future? You can. You wish to bolster their highly damaged defenses, as Shigorith has already moved to begin an invasion, thus inevitably resulting in the death, suffering, and enslavement of large numbers of Corandians at their weakest. That can be done with adequate funding. At this, you do see Enthris is going to put her hand over her mouth. He looks at you and says, I can, of course, render it in platinum.
Do I get nauseous with platinum? Ah, it's just gold! Motherfucker!
I can also, of course, as a formidable wizard, offer you magic. Equipment and boons of enormous value and profound rarity. Perhaps a cloak that enables significant resistance to spells being cast upon you. A carpet that enables flight. If it is some comfort to you, I will even offer what I received in trade from Kotor Greenwood. A very unique and profoundly powerful mortar and pestle that once belonged to a fey creature who had escaped. The thing that you say is not possible. An exceedingly powerful fey creature escaped near Corandia in the Everwood long ago and was defeated. Her mortar and pestle was acquired and traded to me. It is something that can greatly assist you in alchemy, brewing, cooking, herbalism, and poisoning, including even the creation of low-value ingredients. It also has some other beneficial properties, and seemingly the only negative effect that I have been able to discover is that the possession nullifies nearby holy water. But perhaps the most valuable property of all, under certain conditions, it enables the possessor to transport to other planes. A lost magic. You will not be able to find something like that very easily. I believe 2 of you engage in hemomancy, correct? Or as you might call it, blood magic.
I give no indication of anything.
I can provide you a tome with advanced techniques that allow you to inflict far greater damage utilizing these techniques. As I said, I have advanced detection magic in place in my keep. For you, I detect 3 powerful curses upon you.
Dang. That's a lot.
Walking cesspool, guys.
2 of them seem to be of fey origin. I can attest from experience and research that this magic is extraordinarily difficult to break. But I can provide you with an item that is capable of breaking such magic. For the 3rd curse, I can provide to you the location of a creature capable of healing any malady, no matter how powerful.
Can I just insight check that just to
Sure.
see if he's...
While she's doing that, because you said there's 2 chambers, right? We're at the entrance of the door to the first chamber. He was in the second chamber. Did he get to a certain point and just stop?
Yeah, he is standing kind of just inside the second chamber.
Can I squeeze up Bolita's hand and, like, I'm gonna start, like, making eyes at you to, like, start, like, looking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll perception checks.
I want to do that because I want to see if there's anything in that chamber.
I have 14 insight.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
29.
I mean, looking around the office, you see the same things I described earlier. The only other thing that jumps out at you is a series of kind of different color crystals that have been embedded in the wall at various places.
Do they look active?
It's hard to tell. 2 of them do have a soft glow to them and are kind of matching blues on either side of the door frame of the kind of entranceway into the second chamber. And you see several more of these crystals, like kind of on the wall behind him in the second chamber. For you, Zenoa, you get no impression that he's being anything but straightforward. You get in fact, I would say, even with a 14, you get the impression he doesn't really think he has any reason to lie to you. Like, he's just... You get the impression he's like...
We're not even worth deceiving.
Yeah, but, or like, it's almost just not his style. It's just not his thing. Like, he is smart enough that he doesn't feel like he needs to play that game. He's just being he seems to be very straightforward. As he turns to Stoic and says, I can also see that you are also victim to Fey magic, as they are the only creatures I am aware of that are able to utilize one's shadow. And I've also detected a lesser curse upon you that seems to be centered around your feet. I can remove this curse, and I can sever the magic used to draw your shadow away from you. And I can also warn you that in the hands of a powerful enough Fey, a shadow can be a very powerful weapon. A very twisted thing indeed. I do not know what you did to offend such a creature, but...
Stole his lunch. What happened with that?
Such pettiness and such severe reactions to such pettiness speak to exactly why I want to protect our realm from such influence. Imagine if such a creature was hesitant because you held a weapon powerful enough to hurt it. Then such a creature would not have such influence over you. Nor you.
We're
So-
just going to find a more powerful weapon.
So if we let you go, before you go, you will remove 2 of his 3 curses, both of my curses, give us magical items, and gold, and leave this country to never return.
And since you will obviously not trust my word, we will be magically bound to hold to it.
Negotiating with little you scared or something?
I am, as I said, aware of risks. There is always a possibility that I could lose. And the consequences to the universe are far too great for me to gamble with that lightly. And, quite honestly, I give respect where it's due. I have seen what you are all capable of, and it is not a fight I wish to pick. But more importantly, if you are what you consider good, and you are fighting against the evil creatures of this universe, then I have no inherent desire to see you fall either. I do not think the universe benefits from us clashing. You I am not as familiar with.
Hello. Hola, hola.
Welcome to my abode.
It's really scary.
And what are your thoughts on this conversation?
You make people slaves. And then accuse them of being slaves. You speak big words, but you hurt people. Some people cannot be bought, which is why you steal their minds.
I admit there is a cost. There's always a cost, just as with any protection of any nation, you must send out your young men to fight your battles, and there's a cost to the protection of that nation, the preservation of freedom and safety for all those who dwell within it. It is an unfortunate necessity, at least for this point in history.
I wouldn't choose your big words on me because I cannot be bought.
I do not wish to buy anything. I wish to speak frankly.
Gifts. Then. I don't need gifts.
Then you need not take any. But to the rest of you, you can walk out of here far more prepared to wage your battles and carry out your various missions. Do a great amount of good for the world, equipped with things that you will not likely find anywhere else, even with years more of journey. With an enormous amount of wealth that you can then utilize for the good of the world. And I am very curious, on an intellectual level, to see what these self-proclaimed do-gooders will do with such wealth. Because I have seen many who claim to be just like you, who when given great wealth spend it selfishly. So, I am curious to see whether you prove Morthag wrong. Consider it another experiment. Morthag, who believes anybody who is truly wealthy is inherently evil. Yet, you are already far more wealthy, as indicated by all your possessions, than even most nobility. So let us step it up and see. You will have your companion returned to you, and I will trouble Lyrandil no more. In fact, if it is some comfort, I am likely to leave Ariziah as a whole.
Will you destroy the darkfire?
I would prefer not to.
If that were on the table, you'd do it.
And what is that worth to you?
You'd never tamper with it again. Seems like this is what you've devoted your life to. At least the past however long. And you say it's for the better of the good, or the good of the people, the good of the world. A morally upstanding person as yourself, you'd walk away from that.
I confess it is a difficult thing to weigh. I do sincerely believe that it represents a great hope for the mortal races. What is it worth to you?
I'm having the conversation right now. Not saying it's worth anything to me. It's good to know that you might destroy it. Because you talk about our mission. That's my mission.
mission is to destroy Darkfire.
Yeah.
A curious goal that doesn't seem to line up with the White Deaths, at least as of intelligence thus far. What is his interest in it?
You haven't heard the rebellion's over. You guys made a bright show of that the other night.
That is the reports that were given to me, and yet here we are under attack.
Yeah, here we are.
I'm gonna look at Empress. How is she? What is she giving off right now?
You can ask her or roll an insight check.
Empress?
Yes.
You are the only person with legitimate power in this conversation. As a leader of your country. Are you interested in continuing to have this conversation? Or are you not?
Go ahead and roll an insight check anyway.
I'm terrible at insight. That's a nat one?
High pressure situation.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I'm not in a. I do not have a good
Can
sense of
I read
insight.
her?
Sure, if you want.
Oh my gosh. 16.
Okay. You see a lot of conflictedness on her. I think she would whisper, I hope that you do not hate me for saying this, but he's not wrong on a lot of these points.
I don't hate you for that.
His perspective is unique, and I certainly don't agree with all of it, but he is right about those with power, even if they mean well, have to make sacrifices. I have had to make decisions myself. There is no such thing as a ruler who can rule without pain.
I am perfectly aware of that.
Everything good comes at a cost.
I am also aware of that too. The weight is to which pain?
It's... I hate what he did to Belladonna. What she became and what Vanda became, but... how do we weigh the value of all the things he's offering against the fate of a few dozen?
Easy. They did not consent to what happened to them.
And is a military draft any different?
I don't agree with military drafts. I don't agree with any point of power that forces its people to do an action without the consent of those people.
I understand. But no nation, nobody wants to go to war unless they're a culture like the Stonemen.
And
They
their
don't.
culture has them believe true goodness comes from it. I don't understand that.
Right.
But they walk in.
But a nation like Kurundi is not a war culture. If we ever needed to defend ourselves against necromancers in the past, or against Shiggorath, or against the giants when they get restless, or the Targonians, or anyone, we have to force people into the army.
Or make friends with people who will help you.
Well, that's not always an option. You always have to have your own standing army, or no one wants to be friends with you. This is what I mean. There's no such thing as ruling by ideals. It is all about trying to come out positive in the end.
I do not hate you for having to make difficult decisions, but I do not agree with you that anyone should be forced into an action that they do not consent to, even for greater good, because it is only greater good for a very short period of time.
I'm sorry, sir. That's just not how it works.
It can be.
I think she just falls silent. You're kind of touching on, like, you get the impression she, like, there is more depth that she could go into, but it's like probably not the time to go. You know, you don't have like an hour to go into it right now.
I'm just gonna look back up at what's his face. I don't inherently disagree with some of the points that you have made, but you have hurt people to do it. You have stolen people. You have butchered people. You have turned and twisted them into a version of themselves that they could never see again. For your science.
So your primary point of contention is the Monarch program.
No, my primary point of contention is that you hurt people to make your shit work. So I don't fuck with magic. Magic takes everything in order for it to be useful. And for what? To take more? What a sad, fragile thing magic is. What great harm it can do. For what? For potential good? When all it required was two people to shake their hand and share a little bit.
Well, once again you reveal and tilt your hand that you don't know your history. Do you know why magic was given to the mortal races?
I don't give a fuck why magic was given to the mortal races.
You should. It is why you are not a slave at this very moment.
Great, wonderful, love that.
So you would rather close your eyes and stop your ears and scream like a child than understand?
No, I would rather listen to people with too much intelligence and not enough sense to shut the fuck up. You are so fucking smart, but you are so fucking dumb.
So you've resorted to simple insults.
Works for me.
I don't think that's going to help you in any sort of way.
Great. Can I shoot him now?
Point to the whatever the blue haze rooms around the door. I'm like, I don't think it'll do much. That's why I haven't done it. My answer is no, but I'm also not going to speak with you guys.
You go fuck yourself.
Magic exists, whether you want to face it or not, whether you want to acknowledge its existence or not. Magic does exist, and it is utilized by all sorts of unimaginably powerful creatures. If we do not use it, we will become enslaved to those who don't. I don't have the luxury to cry and stomp my feet and insult anyone who speaks about it. I don't have that luxury, nor do the mortal races. So I will continue to utilize whatever tools I can to protect them. But if you have a point of contention that is specific and more intelligent, such as the Monarch program, then perhaps we can negotiate the discontinuance of it forever.
I've already said my piece. I'm like, no. That's up to you.
I already know everyone's answer. Eldritch Blast. Why does it always gotta be me?
I didn't think that's what was going to happen. I was waiting.
I thought you were gonna talk more, but you're gonna Eldritch Blast and let's
Look.
go.
Stoic wants to shoot an Eldritch Blast. I want to take him up on his deal.
I mean, yeah.
No way. We just had a dream where Idris died to kill the king. You think I'm going to turn back on our companion and not follow through with what we said we were going to do, regardless of what he offers?
Yeah, I already made a.
Yeah, my choice was made before we even walked in this room, and I'm pretty sure it was for everybody else.
But I was like genuinely as a player, like I'm gonna give everyone a chance. Like
Yep.
if they genuinely want to step up and negotiate, I'm here for this.
There's no more room for negotiation. Eldritch Blast.
Oh, shoot.
And the universe will fail to such childishness as
You
you
can't
fire
talk while he's ducking?
you fire the blast, and he doesn't even flinch or move. It just hits an invisible barrier
Yeah.
right at the doorway there.
Might it be a force wall?
Yeah. But with that, we'll go ahead and roll initiative.
I hate having such high initiative sometimes.
Danny knew,
Ooh, that's low.
Danny knew it was there. Stoic didn't know it was there.
The dice are not rolling well tonight.
Because I don't think you told anybody that they cast a spell of a force wall.
Yeah, I just
Did you?
when we were in the
hallway?
in the hallway.
Okay.
I said I heard him casting the thing that she used on the
Okay.
ship
Oh, boy.
because I didn't have the language for it. I just knew what I had heard.
Was I wrong? It was either yes or fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been itching to fire my shot.
I know. I wanted someone else to take the shot because I always start the fight.
Yeah, because you're a hothead, and we love you for it.
Look, I knew that
Trying to be a better person.
I know, but sometimes it's nice to have a hothead.
with Valen on the table, I was like, I'm going to let you guys decide what
Yeah,
you want to do.
listen, everything in my body screamed, we should negotiate for Valen.
Dude,
Everything in my soul said I need Valen back.
when I double checked and I was like, hey, you're going to remove our curses, you're going to give us lots of money, you're going to give us all these treasures, and you're going to leave the country, my answer was yes. But that's not...
And possibly in the Monarch program.
Yeah, but that's not Stoic's MO, and it's not what...
Oh, plus, like, how much do we trust this guy to actually, like...
No. But after seeing Adris do his part for the rebellion and know that, like, it's gonna be for naught if we don't come through. Like, I can't turn my back on a comrade.
Well, if he leaves, it won't be.
Yeah, but I can't.
Landale still benefits the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the principle. You know, it's not the point. Like, the principle of the thing is that Adris wanted us to finish him, and we agreed to it on, like, his dying wish. I'm not... There's no way Stoic is not going to follow through.
Okay.
I just don't fuck with magic.
God, that would solve so
I
many
know.
problems.
That's why I was like, I'm not making this
problems not to fight.
Was that a Cody sigh or is a Noah sigh? Or a yes?
Yeah, where are you at on this?
Just kind of curious.
How about we go ahead and take a break?
We're about to get into a fight.
About that time anyway,
Yeah.
so you guys can talk and whatnot.
Really?
So we'll go for about 10 minutes and come right back. Bye. All right.
Good.
Welcome back. Hopefully you had a good break. So, where we last left off, the party had spent some time in conversation with Ariziah and some negotiation with some very, very powerful things. Possibly some other questions left unsaid, but as we last left off, Stoic had fired an Eldritch Blast at him, which seemed to strike harmlessly at an invisible force dividing them. So, are we going into initiative, or is somebody going to try to do something else?
Wait, I think Abuelita's also going to say, wait. Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
On the table for this deal that we're bargaining is your willingness to destroy the fire, the dark fire, and tell us who created it.
I will confess, I do not know how to destroy darkfire, but I can give you what I have.
Contained.
Yes. And your second point?
Oh, I forgot. Cookie. Yeah. Do you want a cookie? It's a regular cookie, but they're very good. And in exchange, you're just wanting us to not fight you.
We part ways amicably. I will leave Lyrindil, never to return, likely Ariziah as a whole. I will give you the boons and items offered, as well as a great amount of wealth in platinum. What else was there?
The magical items, the
I will ensure
friend of
the
yours.
safe return of your companion.
cure of the diseases, curses.
Yeah, that was part of the boons.
Oh, okay,
so
got
I
it.
was just kind of lumping them in. Let's see, what else?
I will say this. I don't care about any of the other things. I don't need anything. But the dark fire being taken away from someone who was putting it into people and finding out who created it is incredibly valuable to me.
As a further note, ancillary, by default, if the dark fire is yielded up, the Monarch program will by default be ended. What you called mind control was more of a safeguard because of the significant power they represented that was instilled into them. So without that, there would be no Monarch program. Without the requisite power, much as if there is no bow, there is no need for a bowstring, or if no arrows, no need for a bow.
Do we need a sidebar?
I just don't want you to hate me.
We would never hate you.
But it sounds like everything we've wanted, everything I've known you to want, almost. It's everything you need.
What about you?
I'm fine. I just... Don't get me wrong. I loathe you. Genuinely. And you all are much more noble than I am. I don't know that I can pass it up. Full containment of darkfire handed over. He's out of the picture, and I'm not stupid. I know he's gonna keep going, but
Look, we're in this together as a family. And if we're not all in this, then we need to reconcile that. Because I can't tell you that I will not tempt it as well.
I can't go in this with a hot head because I can't lose you. And I saw what your fire can do. And I can't have that.
He is not the one who owns Blackfire. Someone gifted it to him. And who is to say that that person will not gift it to someone else?
Well, that's why I was asking if that was part of the deal. Is getting knowledge of who that person is, so that we can track it to the source and stop it there, so that the world doesn't burn.
Which he said he didn't know he got it from.
No,
He's-
he does.
he does,
said
yeah.
He can give us the name.
He's
Yeah.
gonna give us a name.
Sarah.
No?
Okay.
Know what?
I'm not negotiating.
And if I do, where does that leave us at the end of this?
I don't know. I can't answer that. But that is my decision. Make yours.
I want to take him out as much as you do. But I don't know if that's the right choice this time.
What do you want most? Another dead wizard?
Would make up for Easy's death. A wizard for a wizard. For Bear's death. For everyone's death. That he caused. Whether directly or indirectly.
And then what does the future look like?
I don't know!
What does tomorrow
I
look
don't
like?
know! This is my decision. I am not negotiating. You make your decision.
Even for Valen.
Even for Valen.
At the risk of interrupting, I am unaware of any association with the death of any other companions. I do understand there was a wizard and a paladin traveling with you at one time, and no longer travels with you, but I am unaware of any outcome or any activities related to them.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
As you wish. Enthris says, so it's just blindly killing someone because you lost someone? If he's not related to them, what is it?
Make your own decisions.
We can't. Because this is a group. So if we all take the deal, what do?
I
Fight them on your own?
I bite my tongue.
But that's not what you're saying. What you're saying is you've made your choice and you're going to carry it out.
No, what I said is I made my choice. I am not negotiating.
Correct.
I did not say that I was going to fight him on my own.
But that's what that leads us to believe.
Okay, well, then ask me. Am I going to fight on my own? No, I'm not dumb enough to do it. He took some of my intelligence, but not all of it.
All right, it's just clarifying communication.
Shut the fuck up.
That was interesting.
I'm sorry. Was it Enthris? I would not have said that if it was Enthris.
I thought you knew. I was like, okay, it's real.
Yeah, I thought they were like, oh.
No, I didn't know it was her.
It's like, okay, we know now.
All right.
We found the clip for a
I
second.
apologize. I thought that was the dude.
Really
I would not yell at him. I love it. She was yelling at me. But like, thank you, Enthris. I am not going to fight on my own like an idiot. I'm Folly, but not that Folly. But I am not negotiating. I already have a deal that I am supposed to do.
Even that willingness to go with what the group decides shows growth and self-control. You are all leaders, whether you like it or not. You don't get to have the kind of power you have without it. I'm sorry to say, you might want to avoid it, but you will always be influences in what happens in this world from now on.
So, if we do this, I have one more stipulation. This country needs to think that you're dead. I don't know how you would do it. I don't care.
And you plan to perpetuate that lie?
No. The people that matter will know the truth. I'm more worried about the public. Because the people need to believe that he and the king are dead. For them to grow and move on. We at least owe them that much.
It would take some time, but it is possible.
What does that mean?
It means it would require an illusion of quite a large size, which would take some time. But I imagine it will take a number of hours for the city to sort through the chaos of this evening's activities, which will give us time to deal with any remaining things that might need to be dealt with in our deal. Give time for your friend to arrive, and I will also have some time to weave a very complex illusion.
So I don't know. I don't know about that.
It's either that he's going to disappear from this country either way. And if he
Right.
does, I would rather them think he's dead than think that he might come back to save them all.
Wait, what? Did he say what?
I would rather, if he's going to leave this country, that they think it's because he's dead, not because they might think he's alive and might come back to save them all.
Save them.
This country views him, the people in power and control view him as a hero.
Is that true? Is that
He
true?
refers to any remnant population who might be in support of Morthag and his causes, of
He's
which
been
there
around
is
the
no
country.
small number. This nation will have a crisis of identity with any shift of power, and so anything that happens is crucial. A surprising insight from Mr. Songsteel.
Okay.
It's fine, let's do
I
it.
don't like it, but
She left us a scroll. She gave scrolls. What did
here.
What did the scroll say again?
You only told me about the effects.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's true. I did.
Yeah.
I'm like out here crying, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm crying about.
+1 mage clear.
Yeah. We get to the important parts.
If you're reading this, I failed. I made a deal with the Queen of Air Darkness because she likes revenge stories. Ariziah is powerful, so I don't know how far I'll get. Part of my deal was to leave behind something if I should fail. Speak the words and you will get that boon. It will help you slay a particular wizard we all hate.
I understand that she tried.
You speak of the wizard, not the wizard, the bard that entered and left a scroll with a peculiar fey magic on it. I shall say no more until I conclude negotiations, but I find that involvement interesting.
There's more than just her that wants us to kill him. But I do believe that possibly even with Loopy, the people that want us to kill him is because they want us to end his reign and his experiments. I don't think his death is the most important part of that.
It was always the darkfire. Right? Or am I wrong?
I can't get over what I saw in those dreams. And I'm never going to get over it. I heard his voice and I felt the pain. I can't forgive that.
I can't force you to. But I do think that we're making the right choice.
Fine. Then make it.
And Interest whispers, kind of low enough to it's just the group. And Sarah, what if part of the deal was that if you chose to seek your own revenge at a later time, with a set amount of time between here and now, here and then, that be allowed? That would violate nothing. To open the door for you to seek it later.
Yes. No. Yes. 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 I want my revenge.
And you? What will you do if that's what the group decides?
I agree with my job was to help get rid of the darkfire, and if that's what we're doing and finding the source, then that's the thing that I find most important.
All right. And you?
Yeah. I'm fine.
So are we all in agreement?
I think so.
Sign me up.
The night decided I wanted to kill him. And when I reflect on that, it was because I thought he was the source of the darkfire.
Someone gave this to him, knowing what he might do with it.
And that's the only reason
Yep.
I'm okay with this deal.
It's much akin to when there was a narcotics problem in my province. You don't go with the possessors, you go for the dealers.
Yeah.
Who said that? Enters?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
This guy also doing drug deals? What?
What?
Empress, I will say, I will need to lean on you during this contractual period. I have not had the best experiences in making contracts. But I trust you.
Well, we will inquire as to the method of binding before agreeing.
Something I probably wouldn't have asked, which is why I'm gonna lean on you.
Indra is going to walk up to you and just kind of take your face in her hand and say, listen, this is the pain of leadership. But I will say this. You were with me when I sought my revenge. I will, if I can, be there when you seek yours. No further objections.
Let's do this.
All right.
As long as you can meet all of our conditions, the deal can be struck.
How does it work? Let's start there.
I have made a great study of a substance known as spiritite, a very rare crystal that is mined in very rare places. I've utilized that with certain advanced magics that allow bargains to be struck. Those bargains are tied together with all parties involved, and any who violate the bargain, great suffering will come upon them.
Could you be more specific?
It tears your soul. And while that might be unpleasant, typically in some form of madness in this life, it will be far more unpleasant in any life hereafter. Needless to say, any parties involved will want to stay to the bargain. I do not have time to go any further. It involves tying of ethereal threads to our souls and measuring intent of the bargain in order to bind us together. But everyone here will enter into this bargain according to the agreements made, which will be restated before we bind. And then it will be carried out based on a prompt timeline, all things considered.
All right. Let's do this.
All right. Then he reaches into his bag and takes out a crystal that looks very, very similar to the one that the Ruby Judge held. You see it kind of levitates and hovers over the palm of his hand. And he says, well, actually, as he does that, Inthris says, there is one more thing that we need to add to the deal. There are some of us who have personal grievances with you and things you've done. We ask for, after a period of time, the willingness to seek out reconciliation for those grievances. Ariziah kind of thinks about it for a second and says, very well, in exchange for one more ask on my side. That if any of our efforts cross paths again, though not likely, that aside from this revenge about previous grievances, if any of our efforts in protecting the universe should cross paths again, that you will agree to at least a parley before any violent actions or opposition.
I can agree to that.
I can agree to that. Honestly, I would personally prefer to know where you plan to go.
To be honest, I am going to need to investigate several sites. I do have contingency plans, but things change, and I will need to investigate further to decide where I'm going to settle.
What are your options?
I will only go vague. There are certain opportunities far to the east, in other continents, that may present opportunities, though, again, further research is necessary. If that or other continents do not pan out, as you say, then there are other planes. And I will settle wherever I must.
Okay.
All right.
Fine with it.
With those two conditions in mind, I will ask for a period of 6 months buffer before any vengeful activities are to take place against my person or my activities.
Sora.
Whatever.
Very well. For your part, you agree to part ways peacefully and amicably, letting me and my operations depart. For my part, I agree to leave Lyrindel, never to return. I will order the return of your companion, whom I believe is named Valen Wren, to return to you. I will, let's see what else.
You were gonna undo all the shit that was done to us while we were here.
The curses.
While we were
And the other
curses.
Your
The
stuff,
curses.
your stuff.
The
Yeah.
curse has given you the name of the source of
I thought he had said he was just going to undo anything that happened to us directly while we were inside.
No.
He's getting rid of his, like,
everything.
giving
No, I
his memories.
detected things. He detected
Oh.
things.
Well, some of it is not
I'm
immediate.
getting my
He was like
shadow back.
giving you
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
to
How
fix.
you might-
I think he's
how to do
fixing
something.
two and then helping
fixing
you
what he
with
can,
one.
and other
Yeah.
things he can't fix immediately. So
Okay.
it's like a
Yeah, he's giving me a means to do the blood.
Are any of yours immediate?
Was the hag one immediate? Were those two immediate, or were they?
He didn't specify.
Okay.
I don't think, but he said he could break them.
Yeah.
So
So
let's
he's getting his
specify-
memory back.
That's what he's getting to.
Don't do it.
Because we had the boons, the items. I was making notes on this. The info, the revenge, which we covered.
The
and,
revenge.
And the fake death was also part of the
Yes.
Yes.
thing.
And the name of the.
So,
The end of
Yeah.
the monarchs, and we take control of all darkfire in his possession.
And we learn about Daddy Blackfire.
Yeah.
And who he got it from.
Daddy Blackfire. I like
Mommy
that.
Darkfire.
in,
I like that.
in departing from Lyrandil, I will arrange for the appearance of my death. Let's see. I will bestow to you the magic items discussed: the mantle of spell resistance, a carpet of flight, the mortal and pestle that was discussed, a tome on advanced hemomancy. I will also assist you in removal of 2 powerful curses of Fey origin on the person of
Oh, Sarek.
Sarek. And disclose to you the location of a creature capable of healing the malady upon his person.
And that'd be the one that's in your laboratory.
Not quite. The creature I will point you to inspired that one, but is not. That research is not begun.
Gotcha.
The creature in that holding cell was forward to begin research on this, but had not progressed yet.
And for the other 2 curses, how quickly will that come about?
I believe that should be likely to be broken within 1, perhaps 2 hours.
Okay.
For Mr. Songsteel, I will see to it that the magic drawing your shadow away from you is severed. I will also remove the curse afflicting your feet. I also I will transfer you to you ownership of the contained darkfire that I possess. Which will incidentally end the Monarch program.
Question about that. The few remaining monarchs that are here
Yeah, were you saying
are
you were gonna
not
wipe them?
leaving with you, correct? Because that will be unacceptable.
He kind of taps the crystal for a moment and says, "That is not something we've discussed."
Well, then let's do that now, because as we want the monarch program to end, that would mean that the monarchs you have do not fall in the hands of those that would misuse them.
So do you wish to take responsibility for them?
How many are left besides the one in the cells?
There were
He
3
turned.
alive in the cells, right?
Well, that's what I'm checking.
You've
Okay.
well, you personally. Well, so you went
We don't
through.
think that one of them has it inside of them, right?
You went through 4 of the 16 cocoons
Oh, that's
that
right. We
you
didn't go through
saw.
all of them.
Yeah.
You're right.
In those 4, I believe you saw 3 or 4 living. You saw the giant, you saw the elf, you saw the girl. I think the rest of them were empty.
Sidebar. Letting my future plans. How many people, the portal thing that we have to go back to our secret base in another dimension, how many people can that or how many people can that teleport?
I don't know if it had a weight load of how many people. The iron ring that can take me to the pocket dimension.
Because that's kind of where I'm going with this.
That's a good question.
You never
Wanna
specified
dump
how
them all
many
in
people
the
could
pocket
go at a
dimension?
time
We're gonna
in
take them all
one
back
time.
to where the dress of the
I
hand, the
thought
wizard
I
did.
had set a
Right,
limit.
that's where
I didn't write it
take
down, so
all
that
the
could be
dark
me.
Oh, okay.
So why not take
That goes straight to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take the
if we-
people
if we
too.
can- Yes.
That's smart.
So,
That way you don't have to deal with them for too long and just teleport them there.
and then maybe he can't.
Do they
take-
have to be willing to
Because
go through?
I need to know.
I'm pretty sure there's a limit.
there's
I'm just,
enough
I don't, I
magic,
need to find
enough
the note.
science in his research if he knows that there is a way to restore them to
Let's
it.
see. It was given to you
Estate
back in
as well.
I think he wants
Alraka,
to take them
right?
with him. And
No, I'm just saying. I think
It was
he's the person that
after,
would know. I
we
need to
got
know that
portaled back
information before we start sending
From
them
the pocket
places.
dimension,
Well, that's
I was
why
given the
I'm
ring
taking
to be
all
like,
this.
if I ever need to
Let
make
our
it back
wizard
in.
Grandmaster
Because I'll
No, I
kill
thought it was
him.
given
Like, I'll
to you
destroy him
later
before we
when
just give him
Hadressa
to.
talked to you
He
in
thinks that
Alraka.
might be the-
Oh no, you're right, because the dress had, yeah.
She had to have time to make it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But
Yeah,
know of.
that we know of.
Okay. Well, we still don't think-
She's just broken. She's mentally broken.
I will. Okay, I'm trying to look up the notes because I don't remember. I know she gave it to you,
Did he say something about a book?
and there is a limit. I just don't remember
The tome.
what I said. I know it's once a month,
it's enticing.
Because I'm wondering if he.
and there is a limit. Let me.
He's willing to let us keep our books that we found.
Are you talking about in like the greedy room?
No. In the. 'Cause you had a book on.
I threw it.
You threw the different book. It's the
The Albert book.
No, the one in the. When we
Oh,
were
the stuff that he
in
was
the
picking
researcher
up.
room. The stuff that we found in the the library area. I got a book on.
Oh, the lost magic and the other.
Yeah,
magic.
because mine I put in
Other
as
magic.
lost.
Okay,
As
I thought you meant it was
other.
a magic book. They're not magical books. They're just
No, but I'm wondering if he's willing to give
magic?
Yeah,
him
oh, yeah.
that book.
Other
he's
and
willing
lost.
for us to
Yeah.
keep our books that we found.
Ask him, sis.
I am going to say.
Seems like a willing guy.
You gonna give it a radius?
Yeah, you do know.
He
you've
wants
seen
us
it
to be
before, it's about
educated,
this
quite
big. I'm
frankly.
trying
Yeah.
to see how reasonably you could
great.
work it around it. I'm
Oh.
going to say.
It's like a port key where like everyone has to
Yeah, it's
plug
like a
it in.
small little iron
Okay.
ring.
Yeah.
Just have to touch it. Little fingers.
But they're still there. So I found the note. Yeah, because she had expressed like it takes a long time and a whole lot of money to make.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 10 creatures.
So we could take the ones that we found at least.
Yep.
Okay.
So while you were talking, Ariziah had walked over to his desk and had pulled out some parchment, and he says, at various stages within the chrysalis, currently there are 21 candidates.
How many of them already have darkfire in them?
Currently 2.
In all of your research, is there any amount of science or magic that can restore those to their previous state?
It is not something I have researched. So I am
Insight
unaware
check.
of. I am unaware of any. You can insight check, I'm sure.
He's a bad guy. I'm insight checking.
Yeah, fair. Smart.
I mean, it was 13. I think it's 13.
Okay. Yeah, you still haven't seen any change in him. He
Okay.
doesn't seem to be anything but straightforward, even if what he's saying you think is bad. He doesn't seem to be hiding much. Like he's being straightforward and he's withholding things he wants to withhold, but he doesn't seem to be deceptive.
Okay.
So 10, so you would know the ring can transport 10.
10 people. 10 creatures.
So The 6 in your party plus 4 others.
So what are your plans? Those two.
I think we take them back to.
Hydressa?
Well, that's not the name I was thinking of, but I don't want to say that name in
The
front
desk
of him.
mean?
No.
Her.
Boss. Her boss.
H-E-R.
Oh.
Her.
Her boss. I just don't want to say his name in front of. Yeah, I would prefer that you not take any of them with you.
Very well.
Because that will be the complete closure of the Monarch program.
Get to start from scratch.
Very well. So, and he taps the crystal. This will also involve the transfer of ownership of all 21 remaining monarch candidates within the chrysalis. I'm gonna go back to my notes. I think that's almost everything. I said, lastly, I will arrange the bestowance of 100,000 gold in the form of platinum, or 10,000 platinum pieces.
Also, all curses received while in this facility need to be removed.
That is something that would take a lot more time and research. Part of why I allowed you to enter was part of an experiment examining the effects of the angel. Celestial power is much like Fey power in that it is unique.
Do you know how long these effects will last?
I do not. We had much to learn from this experiment and much to learn in the future.
He's telling the truth.
Sorry, Tara.
If we let you.
I was trying.
I appreciated it. I really appreciated it so much. I'm trying to be all assertive right now, but on the inside I'm like, please let me not get nauseous when I hear the word gold.
It's alright.
No, I appreciate it.
It's your turn to be the cursed party member.
Listen, I've been rocking with half the number of hit points y'all have had this whole time. It feels right.
Okay. Well,
I'm just here for a good time, guys. Not a long time.
It's
So-
a good time though.
I'm having fun.
so Sarek, just to recap, does he have everything covered?
Yep, the removal of curses, the magical items, info on where the black fire comes from or who he got it from, revenge, his fake death, the candidates for the Monarch program turned over, and then the
And any darkfire? Did you say any
And then
darkfire?
6
Yeah,
months
did
of
say
chill
that.
time.
6 months of chill time, and then 10,000 platinum since we can't say the G word right now.
Okay.
I think that covers it.
Anthras?
Anything else that we missed?
I don't think so. I don't know that we'll be able to press any. This is a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying to press more. I'm just asking you
Yeah.
if everything sounds
On the level.
copacetic.
Mm-hmm.
yes. And before I forget, I don't know how your sending works, or I might need to get word back to Corandia if they are about to be invaded.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, he said that the Shigorts are invading.
Who?
The Shigorts is the country
It's
next
the-
to.
yeah.
It's the ones that I was selling my friends to, without me knowing.
Yeah.
when I was.
Shigorth is the
Oh,
country
okay.
neighboring Karandia, and they're known for slavery, and they are also longtime enemies of Karandia. Karandia is weakened at the moment from the onslaught of Greenwood's activities and the Battle of Elduin and everything else.
And they have like a temporary.
Yeah,
king.
they had a king that lasted for a day, and then a new queen that's only a couple of months old now. Basically, there's a lot of upset and upheaval around everything. They lost an archpriest. There's a lot of upheaval
Is
around.
Lyrandale
Karandia.
triggering something right now?
No.
Oh.
Lyrandale's not.
Yeah.
Shigorth is.
No, Shigorth is basically, and on national scales, sometimes things take a while to manifest. What he is saying is that he is offering the wealth as a possible, if you wanted to spend it that way, a possible means to help Karandia defend itself in its weakened state against the invasion of Shigorth that's impending.
Okay.
That is already set in motion.
So basically, before you joined us, we really fucked up our home country, and now another country's invading.
Sorry, I thought the way that she said that, I thought like something if we do this, it's gonna
No.
trigger something.
No,
Like, oh, okay.
He
No,
was
we already
saying.
triggered.
Okay.
He was saying he was just kind of a comment of like, this is happening. You don't know it's happening, but I do, and I'm offering you a
I know,
means
she
to help
trusts.
with it
Okay.
if you want to spend it that way.
And there's the word in Crony, I don't do I know
Are you?
Anthros is
We
my
can-
contact in Karandia.
We can discuss
Okay,
it
I'm sorry.
at a later
Yeah.
point. All right.
We've come to terms.
I believe so.
Excellent. And we are all agreed. Just verbally say I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I look at Asura. I agree.
I agree.
Very well. You see just a little bit of a increase of the glow, and you see these kind of silvery threads arc out into each of your chests, including his, and then it just kind of fall and then disappear. Very well. Without wasting any more time, where shall we start? Actually, wait. And he snaps fingers, and a servant runs out, and he starts giving some orders around retrieving the money and etc. He just basically is giving some kind of under the breath words to kind of start preparing for execution, as well as like spell materials and different things that need to be gathered for various things that involved in this. So
We should have asked for the death of the sludge monster guy. Dang. The sludge
Servant
monster,
dude.
he's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, we could start with the removal of the curses if that's something you're able to do now.
we are gathering those materials as we speak.
Could start with the info. Find out where you got the darkfire from.
Very well.
While we wait for everything else to come our way.
Some years ago, I was visited, breaking past any protective barriers I have against that prevent people from entering my domiciles. This being of considerable power was able to successfully enter my domicile and speak with me. His name is Farian. You will likely not know that name, but you might know his title, the Prince of Spring.
Fey people.
Yep.
I found our conversation, Mr. Songsteel, interesting. Because you proposed to me the idea that those stalemates cannot be broken, that I speak only in what-ifs. Yet Farian himself is representative of one of those stalemates broken. The Fey courts are inherent to the Feylight. They are part of the universe. The creatures who rule them, the beings who rule them, are as much a part of the Feylight as any land, as much as the sun itself. They are part of its nature, which makes them a part of the universe itself, almost forces. They are beyond Archfey, if you will. As such, the four courts hold each other in balance. The Queen of Summer, the Queen of Winter, the Prince of Spring, and the Princess of Autumn. Yet something, and part of this is, he himself told me very little, but some of this is research I did on my own after our conversation, after our encounter. Something happened some time ago, and the Princess of Autumn was somehow stripped of her power and exiled from the Feylight, disappearing from the Court of Autumn, from the City of Leaves itself, and the Fey realm entirely. I was unable to determine what exactly happened to her. But the resulting gap in power destabilized the entirety of the Fey realm. As such, the Fey realm has seen true war for the first time in known history, as the other seasons struggle for expansion of power. Perhaps although the timing is not right, you might have noticed that over the years, autumn has become shorter and shorter each year. This is because with the lack of balance, summer and winter expand their territories. What you may not have noticed is that spring is also in the process of shrinking. What you might have noticed is that the snowfall has quickly melted and warm weather is coming faster than you might have expected. The universal implications of this to the material realm are something we simply don't have time to go into. But suffice it to say, the absence of power from the Autumn Court has allowed the Prince of Spring to leave. And leave he did. He came to me claiming to seek a good story, in his words. He said that I was a capable individual and that he frankly did not care what I used, and he did not really truly care what I did, but believed that giving me the power to execute my will would make for a good story.
May I sidebar with my companions for a moment?
Of course. And he goes as another servant has come, and he goes
Sure.
and talks with them for a second.
So, guys, Selena's now the new Princess of Autumn, right?
She was taking on her mother's mantle, yes.
But wasn't... So I'm trying to remember, because when we originally brought her to the Feywild, there was no Queen of Autumn, so we brought her as, like, basically an adopted child of the Queen of Winter, right?
No, to the Azure Grove, to the,
Yeah, but we left her under someone's protection.
yeah, the Azure...
The Sapphire Queen.
The Sapphire Queen.
Sapphire.
Wait, so when you
not
met this
Winter
person,
Queen.
who was she?
Selena was the daughter of the Princess of Autumn.
Yeah.
And this princess was gone at this point.
Yeah, the princess had been...
She had been captured.
So, to give you a summary real quick, especially for the people who weren't here in the first arc, they encountered, one of their first missions was to retrieve some kids who were going missing from a village. They found the kids, who turned out to be being kind of cared for and protected by fey creatures in the forest. which is very unusual for Fae. They don't stick in one place. They're not typically altruistic, or at least not for very long. This was later deemed probably the responsibility of Storm, who seems to have Storm, the pixie, who seems to have a very strange effect on other Fae around her.
She was heading up, taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Okay.
without trying. She just sort of like convinced them to, and they stuck around.
And
It was
then
just
there's
very
like this
unusual.
couple that kind of like were the human like
Yeah, there were
caretakers.
human caretakers farmers who didn't know what they were doing, just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
So one of these was a girl named Selena. Selena was, fast forwarding a bunch, turned out to be the daughter of Duke Polton, one of the dukes of Carandia. And what they discovered later is that the Duke had stumbled across Ardilessa, who they later figured out was the powerless Autumn Princess. He took her, kept her in a dungeon, had a kid with her, and
In the
that
way
kid,
you might think that would happen.
in the worst way, had a kid that was Selena.
And this is all in our realm. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
the
it's all-
princess was in our realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like,
He literally
hanging out in
was
Carandia.
out
Okay.
hunting and stumbled across her
okay.
and took her.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
They later figured that it was partially out of Polton's desire, but also because Polton served Greenwood. Greenwood, who was obsessed with bloodlines and the potential power that comes with bloodlines, thinking that, Selena, being the offspring of some powerful Fae, could be utilized in some form or fashion. They were able to, they killed Duke Polton and his wife. They transferred, they went and, I'm fast forwarding a whole bunch, but they basically,
Yeah.
they first met Cithris because Storm told them about Cithris as her brother who could lead them to the Phalite. They find him. They kind of stumble across him while they were doing something else, where they fought Vander for the first time. Rescued Cithris. Cithris agreed to take them, and basically led them to the Feywild, to the Phalite, and with Storm and Selena. And led
Loki
them
was also
through,
with us during this too as well.
led them through the Fey realm, which is where a lot of things that happen, their problems with the Fey started, because during their travels, they made a whole bunch of bargains with a whole bunch of creatures along the way as part of this string of things.
And we almost got it. We almost got everything, and then we fucked it up.
Broke every single one of them.
Yep.
At the finish line.
At the finish.
Yeah, almost finished. Like, had fulfilled the end of the chain to be able to go back and fulfill everything that they needed to. And they had met an arch-fae called the Great Furred One, this house-sized cat,
really need to go in this car store?
who was eating creatures and things, just talking about exotic flavors and stuff like that. Stoic decided to free one of the creatures, and
He really likes animals.
and basically ticked off the Great Furred One. They escaped because Stoic made a deal with a devil they had become aware of, selling his soul, basically, selling his services.
Such a convoluted
I know.
series of events.
Either way, we took Selena to the Feywild.
Yeah, they successfully got Selena to the Feywild. Incidentally, the Great Furred One is why he doesn't have a shadow, because later a cat, or at least the shadow of a cat, showed up
And
lured his shadow away, and they don't know what happened since then.
I know, that's crazy. I love
Listen,
that. That's so cool.
Shit's been wild out here.
You guys making deals left and right.
So
Yes.
Selena
That's what
was
we do.
Selena was taken to a place called the Azure Grove. They learned that is this kind of area in the Phalite that is overseen by an entity known as the Sapphire Queen, who is a title that was really bestowed by the Queen of Winter, but that's not really her name. Nobody really knows her name. They just call her the Sapphire Queen, and she's not Fae, but nobody really knows what she is. But she has a habit of adopting children from different planes and stuff, and has all these kind of orphaned children that she's just taking care of. And Cithris and Storm are two of
In
those
this
children.
grove, it just
Yeah.
keeps them safe and not out of the way of anybody else.
Yep. And they leave when they're ready. Like they're not held to it. She just seems to have a soft spot for orphans and takes care of them and protects them. Nobody messes with the Azure Grove, nor the Glade of Knowledge that she is under her protection either. So Sithris and Storm are children of the Sapphire Queen, adoptive children of the Sapphire Queen. They brought Selena there to become basically the adoptive sister. Selena, in their few conversations with her since via his book, she has demonstrated that she's kind of being slowly changed. That her nature is becoming more Fae-like. Like she can't even really describe it. She just feels like this place is a part of her and that she's a part of it, and it's changing her. And she's not exactly
Makes sense.
sure how and why or
Yes,
what.
and I feel like there was one conversation where she started to take on some of the like qualities that would make her the next princess for the autumn.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's like some like latent.
Sithris had mentioned she was changing, and like there's been some talk of her becoming more like wise, and which is a characteristic of the Autumn Princess and things like that. And you can tell differences in how she talks to Stoic in his book, and from like the kind of teenage girl who's really quiet to someone who's a little more confident, a little more well-spoken, and just she's changing. She hasn't said I am fully the Autumn Princess, or I'm going to become. She was talking about how she hasn't decided, but she doesn't even know, like, the way she's feeling. She doesn't really even know if it's like a choice per se. It's like she feels like this is part of her in like a more powerful way than us mortals could understand. It's like
Got it.
but that she is also becoming to understand the Fae a lot better and understand why they think the way they think. So she's basically slowly becoming more Fae. And she spoke highly of Sithris.
Okay, so it wasn't the Winter Queen, it
She
was the
did.
Sapphire Queen.
Yep.
Yep.
So we have not had contact.
Nope.
That's
You've
right.
only heard of her in various contexts, but never actually.
And when we came back out, Lopi had stayed in the Feywild.
That's what I was
Yep.
going to clarify, because I
Yeah.
was like,
She had gone off to seek the Winter Queen because she liked revenge.
yeah.
And that was after she was turned into a badger, I think it was.
I forget what she was turned into,
Yeah, it was
but she
something
like
like
she like wandered off as the animal that she had been turned into.
Yep, for revenge on. I forget which Fae took that revenge on her.
I don't know. We crossed a lot of people.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
They robbed my friend.
Yep.
Nope. That
And
is
they've dealt
that.
with some of it, not with others. But if you hear comments about why there are no bees and how they messed up the bee population,
That's
it's
us.
because they made a deal with the queen of bees in the Phalite,
And then we
but then
killed her.
later killed her when she came for them because they
she's
didn't
trying to
honor
kill
the
us.
bargain.
Yep.
It was deserved, but she tried to kill
So
us.
it was the consequences of our actions.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Picked a flower.
It was self-defense against your own consequences.
Yeah, you picked a flower that was like the flowers that grew
Yeah,
out of my
that's
oasis
very
when I
nice.
was a child.
Yep. So there's a lot of interwoven threads happening here. So anyway, so he comes back, and he says, "I do not claim to fully understand his motivations, except that he did not seem to have any truly altruistic designs. Nevertheless, I will take whatever tool is given to me, despite the motivation, and use it to better the mortal races. He is the one who taught me how to use it, because it is a very complex thing to actually use effectively. But he gave it to me, taught me how to use it, and he is also the one who introduced me to Lord Greenwood."
When he left your company, did he say anything about where he was going? Back to the Feywild, to explore Ariziah, to explore Everwind, anything?
He said, and I quote, "I'll leave you now. I have things to do."
Awesome. So,
That's what's up.
yeah, what was it? Was there something else we were going to get from info side? That was just it, right?
I will add one more note from my own research. The rulers of the Fey courts, there are some in the scholarly realm who would have put them at the same level as gods. I am not certain that whatever entities you might call gods would fall in the same category as these creatures, but suffice it to say these are creatures of the type of power that I discussed to you as an imminent threat to the universe if they decide to become one. That being said, he is still inherently Fey, and there is nothing that I have been able to find in extensive, countless hours of research and acquisition of knowledge from libraries all across the world and the greatest scholars known through history that speaks anything of Fae, even the most powerful Fae possessing anything like this darkfire. This leads me to believe that it is not originated from him.
He stole it from a guy who stole it from a guy who stole it from a guy.
That's the campaign we've been playing so far.
So we're pulling this thread. Oh god, it all came apart.
Okay. Well, that at least tells us more than what we knew.
Mm-hmm. Got a name.
God, I don't have to go back to the Feywild. At least we have one friend in the Feywild. Is there any other information?
I don't think so. That was it. I mean, other than, like, I guess the name of the creature or being that can
Oh yeah.
take care of
Yeah.
my
He's in
deal.
here.
Mhm.
Yes, and as you are talking, there are servants starting to bring in things and everything like that, and set up things, throughout the room, and just kind of preparing things in a very practiced fashion. You can tell these are servants who really know, like, his demands. So.
The barrier between us, is that still active? Or people like crossing over the rooms?
No, it's
Oh.
dropped.
Oh.
Or at least people are passing through it.
Okay.
Time to rip our souls
Now,
apart,
do it
guys.
now! Attack!
Let's go rip our souls apart. I mean, if Voldemort can do it,
Like 6 times.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fine to do
cost
it at
to
least
benefit.
once.
no big deal, you know? We can
We
piece it back together.
Sir, you're quiet. Are you just going like 5 months,
Catatonic?
29 days, 16 hours, and 42 minutes?
Yes.
Counting backwards.
Yeah. She's also been slowly, like, caressing something around her neck while this has been happening.
Enthers is gonna softly, like, I think the group would hear, but softly, like, she says, she's doing what a leader has to do sometimes, which is just to get through it. Where is it? It's weird that with so many things in this world that it would be hard for me to find things sometimes.
You would dig back through your 3,000 pages of notes on this in-depth world with characters like Ariziah, who were like, oh, shit, he makes some really good points.
All right.
Everything about him makes my, like, whole body just go.
That's one part, and then the other part.
One that abro with a shower suit, the drought of March have burst the root, and bathed every vine's which liquor which virtue intended is
So-
overflow.
Is everyone else cool with like getting all of our treasures and bailing out to home base?
No,
Why not?
I have a boyfriend now.
It's true. It's true.
So what's home base?
Also, literally, I'm about to see Valen, who I haven't seen in a long time.
No. Like, we'll take it with us. But
That means one less person.
I know we only have 2 that weirdos
That
that
have
we're
the
interested
darkfire,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can fit one more, right?
2 more.
Okay.
So we take Valen and his sister, maybe.
Tara
Or
doesn't
your
really-
boyfriend.
Tara doesn't give a shit. I'm just like, Sarah's like, what about my boyfriend?
Her heart's in 2 places.
My
Or probably
heart-
in a lot of places, actually.
Listen, her heart has been left in 1,000 places.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, Sarah's a softie. She just refuses to believe it.
Uh-huh.
What I was hoping is, because, like, we're still going to be wanted in the city. It's going to be a little hard to get out. I know we have carpet to get us out now, but, like...
I know, right?
Yeah, but, like...
All of them.
Ugh, why are we flying? Ugh.
But we could send...
Okay, Ether.
I
That's
forgot her name.
different.
Empress. We could send Empress back to Carondia the long way with some money, because we don't know how fast we'll be able to leave the portal realm to get to Carondia. But you know what I mean? Like, we could go up, drop off the kids, drop off all the darkfire.
Sure, but Empress might want to come too.
She might. She's not part of the organization, though.
But she has been offered an opportunity if she wants to join.
That's true.
Well, she's got some stuff to get back to in Carondia. That's pretty important.
She wants to be lead.
That's what I'm saying.
That's valid, too.
I mean, like,
She's macking on you hard, so...
it'd be really nice. She backs on everybody. It'd be really nice to go back to Carondia.
Well, she was backing on it, Valen.
Valen, yeah.
But then Valen disappeared, so she
Yeah.
said, new target.
Me and her trauma bonded over some stuff. We trauma bonded over some vampires. So.
Hey, you know. Whoever gets you
Trauma.
there.
There's
Yeah.
many ways to be bonded in a trauma. Believe me, sir has tried.
Or a dungeon.
Huh? Yeah, probably find out what she wants to do first.
The other 20 prisoners will just do what they do with all convicts. Just give them $10 and like push them out the door.
After they've been fucked with.
Hey, I know your brain's not...
That's how the real world works.
Can we not? This is fiction.
There are, I will amend my statement, there are 2 possibilities, one much longer and perhaps not up your alley if you are not of the intellectual bent. The first one is the one I mentioned before, a creature named an aboleth. These are extraplanar creatures from planes beyond the known, well-documented planes. Very powerful creatures of psychic abilities. However, knowledge coming from one of those planes that was acquired by me leads me to believe that their heart tissue can be, with careful processing, rounded to cure magical diseases. That one would take a lot of research. Research I have only yet begun, or not even begun, truly. If that is not I can tell you the location of another creature that I am aware of, but if that is not the route you wish to go, there are celestial creatures called Kiren. There used to be a number of them in the universe, but they have slowly been disappearing over the last eon or so. But there is one who is particularly ancient and particularly powerful, who has apparently set up a place for unknown reasons, and perhaps the most unlikely place in all of the universe. In the Titanium Fortress, which is a city, a sort of waypoint in the first layer of the Abyss. Truly the least likely place to find a celestial creature amidst countless, infinite number of creatures who wish to destroy it. Yet, as to my knowledge, for the past 1,000 years or so, nothing has been able to, as of yet. But it apparently has enormous healing powers.
Tower, first floor.
DM, you said first level of the abyss?
Mhm.
Okay, just want to make sure I
First
heard that right.
area.
It's kind of like the hells, right? Where like counts backwards.
Not quite, in that the 9 hells have 9 layers. Each layer is effectively infinite, but there are only 9. The abyss has an infinite number of layers, as far as we can tell. No one has been able to.
But I more mean by like first layer is like the easiest one to get to.
Yes.
Okay.
The first layer is a sort of waypoint for
Where you show up.
That's what I wanted to confirm. It's a spawn point. I got it.
planar travelers and traders who are capable of reaching it.
Yep.
The Titanium Fortress is, as I said, a city where people are able to
Yeah, but the curing is still
pass through and on their way through portals leading to other levels of the abyss.
Sounds like our new mortal and pestle may help us upon that journey.
Mhm.
It may help you with a variety of things.
And does the Kieran have a name that you know of?
Elith.
Elith.
Did you get it?
No.
EL-ith.
Yeah, we might have to get some of the spelling on some of this other stuff later.
Sure. And if you wish, I believe we are ready to begin on the first. Which one of you would you like to begin?
Go for it.
I've had mine longer. Okay. One of them, anyway. Sure.
Let's
Oh,
go.
nice. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been flying like in front of our faces like the whole night. Okay.
Cleric in the game, monk in real life.
All right.
All right.
Remove that curse.
He goes over to one of the mini tables in that first chamber, and you can see there's a number of symbols have been drawn out by some of the other assistants.
Sure.
And he gestures for you to lay on the table.
Just
Yeah.
making sure you guys are close.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
And I do, and I lay on the table.
Yeah, not that far away.
Sura has her hands close to access
Okay,
points to
okay.
two of her knives. She's willing to destroy her soul if it means stopping this guy from killing another one of her friends.
One of the assistants has presented him a pouch that he slung across his shoulder, which, as you lay down, he then walks around and you can see there's like little piles of powder that have been kind of put out in specific places at the edges of the table. And he reaches into it and takes out a series of matching crystals, and he kind of puts them in the pile of powder so that they kind of sit upright in each one, going through. He then takes out from this pouch a crystal ball and places it at the head, like right above,
I'm actually good.
right above your head, and he begins muttering incantations. He does this for about 10 minutes. It's about 10 minutes, and then as you guys are watching, as he does this, he does this. He's making gestures occasionally, and occasionally making adjustments to some of the things, or the symbols and everything like that around you. And then at one point, he closes his eyes and puts his hand on the ball, And it's like things kind of go quieter for a second, and like you swear the light in the room darkens just a little bit, and then he says, I see. This explains a lot. I believe, for the benefit of the group, your companions, and he, if you will, he keeps one hand on it with his eyes closed, but he gestures for you to kind of line up. If you will, lower your eyes to the level of his body.
I'm already there.
Raise yours up, yeah.
And I'm just laying there like, what the fuck is going on? Okay.
Start chanting, oh, yeah.
Go.
With his other hand, he makes a quick gesture, and a little mote of light appears. And then he adjusts his hand a little bit, and it becomes very bright. Like, you don't want to look directly at it bright. So then he lowers it to where it's behind where Stoic's body is from you, and you see it faintly through his body.
You can see the light like through my body.
Because you can't cast a shadow.
And you can actually see in the light little bits of his hand through your body.
That's wild.
Still got to do with no shadow though. That's like I'm transparent.
He says, and then he releases it. A very curious curse indeed. The shadow was lured away and given flesh. The shadow has taken on your form
Oh.
Doppelganger.
and is currently in the city of Elduin,
Wait, where's that?
posing as you.
Is that Cronia?
Oh,
Wow!
That's actually bad.
This is gonna be the second Neo Stoic we face.
Nega.
You are-
It's Negastoic. Exactly. That's what I think. It's Negastoic. You guys can be best friends now.
Okay.
It's actually a really cool guy, you know?
You are fortunate. What I was demonstrating to your companions is that your body is, to a degree, transparent. As the shadow becomes more real, you fade.
Oh no.
It's Back to the Future.
The shadow is becoming you, and you will become the shadow.
And what happens to you if you can't break this curse as agreed upon?
Patience.
He's panicking.
The shadow is... And he kind of pauses and kind of goes silent for about a minute. I see. It has been posing as you in the city of Elduin. It is very popular.
Oh, he's a cult leader. He's a cult leader.
He has made many friends and is liked by a great many people.
So we know it's the exact opposite stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's so fucking funny.
That is fantastic.
You laugh, but I don't think you quite understand just how cruel this curse is meant to be. I believe, if I am not mistaken, his intent is to replace you with a better version of you. To make a statement that you are not worth anything, and that this is a better version that you should just surrender to. Yes. This will take some effort. And he still with his eyes closed, he gestures to one of the assistants and whispers some things, and they disappear. And they bring out 3 scrolls. And then he opens his eyes, his hand's still on the crystal, and they open it in front of him, and he reads out these really complex incantations from each, and then you watch the scrolls like spark and disintegrate in like a little bit of a flame as they're read. He does that one by one with each of them and says, all right. I believe that might do it. And he mutters some more incantations. And then he actually kind of maneuvers himself down kind of to your side, still holding it, and reaches down kind of by your feet where a lot of the symbols, which by the way have been drawn in kind of this flaky, kind of crumbly charcoal, like, you know, movable for a sense. And after he says it, he just makes this aggressive, like, swipe up with his finger. And as he does, you hear this, no. And you feel like, for a moment, like you're in 2 different places. Oh. And you feel this extremely unpleasant kind of, if something can be ripped apart and shoved together at the same time, that's what it feels like. And it is, you feel this enormous resistance and hatred. And you just hear this, like, you just get these emotions bombarding you for a moment of, like, all of them have to do with, you don't deserve to be real. You've wasted it.
Oh, so I'm feeling the stuff from the other
From
stone.
the shadow.
Okay. Not from the Fur King, but from...
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's gone. And you see, you all see, like, in that line where he swiped his hand, stoic shadow beside his body, where it should be from where the light is hitting him.
Congratulations on getting that back. I'm really sad we didn't get to interact with the other stuff.
I know, right? Sounds
You
like
right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'm happy or sad. But I at least have my shadow back. Do my feet still hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Another round to go.
He like gets up to go on my head. Like
Wait.
Yeah, oh. Thank you.
One step closer to being whole.
I didn't realize how unwhole I was without my shadow.
I'm glad you got it back.
Okay.
He'll be next.
Shall we continue with the other one?
Yeah, this one was done by a prankster. I think you'll have far easier time with it.
Well,
Making some assumptions there.
No.
let us begin. So, he takes, he has you hop off the table for this one, and actually just has you stand. He takes out, again from that satchel, a spell book, and rifles through to the right page. And he makes some gestures and mutters some incantations again. Nothing happens. He says, I see. Was this the result of a bargain?
Was it?
pretty sure I don't
He
remember
wasn't
what the
just
bargain.
trolling?
What was the bargain? Oh man, you did say you did make a bargain with him.
I thought this was due to the fight we had when we left the Feywild.
This was in
We were
Alraka.
screwing around in the sand.
Well, yeah, but I thought that it was payback from the first time we met him.
No.
So that's why he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But he made it part of the deal to help with the rest of the everything that was happening.
Oh, that's right. So it was
To continue being the
both.
Madassa,
Yeah,
that was part of the deal, is to be able to curse you however you wanted.
Yeah, that was both.
Yep.
Okay, because he was just going to do the curse outright, but took opportunity to make a bargain. So yes, it was
I see.
part of the bargain.
All right. Fair bargains are much harder to break through.
So this will be the first of two today.
All right. All right. So he then flips through, and you actually see him try a series of things, and he just kind of like. Eventually, you start to see him show a little bit of like curiosity, like he's trying things and they're failing. And then he has like his assistants bring another like tome over, and he flips through, and
all his creative stuff.
and he's just, not interacting with you at all, but he's just kind of sifting through, like trying all these different things, trying these different notes and stuff like that. And you see him sit, after a minute, and just look into the distance and think. All right. Then he has them line up. He actually has his assistants hold up several of these books up in a row, and you see him wave some things, and you see him wave some light in his hand, and he actually connects several of these books with these lights, almost like threads that he sews through quickly, and then with a swoop, like almost like swooping a needle through, swoops it through your feet, and then pulls, and you feel pain.
Okay.
You feel pain, like the stretching of skin and the cracking of bones, like your foot is put on a rack and is being stretched.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. You probably don't want to be on your feet right away. You probably sit down for a minute. Like,
Sure.
It is very painful.
Yeah.
And you hear in your head, your world really is nothing, is it?
No, he's not.
Roll an insight check for me.
Oh, sure. 3.
I'll give you advantage because of the history. Of all
Oh, I'm sorry,
this.
7.
I'll give you advantage because of the history of this. So.
Roll
Advantage.
again. Yeah.
Nice. 13 or 14.
14? Okay. You hear this, you know it's him.
Yeah.
You don't hear the kind of laissez-faire kind of cockiness. You feel like a hurt resignation, like a disappointment.
Yeah. that tracks.
Like none of the, like everything that you know about Sithris, it's just like, wow, you really are just not a good person. Is the gist of the emotion you're getting there. Like,
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
That's
It's
just
so this is
2
who you
blows in a
are.
row. Like, this is just not my day. Stark has enough, like, self-worth issues, okay?
Very well. Would you like to proceed?
Fast as fuck.
Like
let's
stones
do
here
it.
shoot tonight.
When you, this is a like, when you tried to dispel or whatever, way back when.
I think it was a greater restoration.
Greater restoration, and you did tell me that she talked to you.
The hag, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can have fun with that.
Yeah. Is there like, could something happen to everyone else if we do this? Because like last time we tried, she was pretty upset about even trying to do it.
I forget what she said. It was like...
Basically, I think it was just that's a bad idea. I don't think it was very
Yeah,
specific.
she wasn't specific. I just didn't know if she said, I'm going to screw you up, or I'm going to screw him up. Or...
Yeah.
We're going to get attacked by hags eventually.
I mean, hags, the great furred one. We're just gonna. It will be roaring through the
At least we'll
Feywild
be at the top of our game when it happens. That's how I'm looking.
with lots of magical items.
He says, you will be protected as long as you're in this keep. I cannot make any promises as to any fallout for any of these deals you've made.
It's up to you.
You guys have been a lot of places.
Oh yeah, been pissed off
Done
at a lot of people.
done a lot of stupid things. Yep. Yeah. Let's do it. I lay it down the table too, or.
And he's going to ask you to kind of tell him some detail of like what you remember or what you know
Yep.
of your encounter.
I'll divulge the whole thing that I know of. I'm not. I don't feel like now's the time to hold anything back.
The ocean.
And it was a bargain, so 2
I see.
bargains.
I see. He whispers some more instructions, and a few minutes later, you see several of them carrying a what looks like a steel tub in, and they plunk it down, and then they start bringing in buckets of water and just start, one by one coming in and filling this.
So I'm guessing this takes a little while to do.
This tub. It takes a few minutes.
Yeah. Like, Sarek's leg's just like jackrabbiting.
I just start making little snacks. They're not special of any kind. It's like trail mix type things, and I start handing them out. And I like squish onto my bag, and I'm just sitting there eating it like a kid eating popcorn at a movie theater.
What are you nervous about?
Yeah, I've been
It
thinking.
looks like you fixed stoics.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that part of it. Like, well, I just wasn't a good person. Like this guy that said he was my brother came in and just like, the guy that he described, I did not like him. I don't want to be that guy. What if I go back to that, or was that, or am that, and I don't want to be.
You get your memories back, that doesn't mean you have to go back to anything.
What if it does? I don't know how this works.
Well, it's too late now.
That's true.
Just be better.
I liked you before.
Haven't really known me, except for not having anything. I only just met you guys.
Even so.
Will you stay beside me while he does it?
I've been just kind of clocking the whole time, like these people exiting and entering, and where they've been exiting and entering from, and
There's
how
a
many
few
different
different
faces
places.
I've seen, and like
You're seeing them come from a couple of doors you don't see quite around the corner, like to the sides of that other second chamber, and then through the door you came in. Like the water in the tub was brought in through the door you came in. They're kind of coming from different those 3 different places.
I'm just on high alert.
I'm only keeping an eye out for the sludge monster, so if he comes, just let me know.
Make an insight check for me too.
For real.
Dreadful at insight.
I don't have nothing to do with it.
Oh, this is not gonna be great.
The soul rending commence.
Like an 8.
Okay. Never mind. Okay. So as they prepare these things, and you see a few of them very carefully putting a line of powder, like kind of white powder, very carefully around the rounded edge of this tub, and then he gestures for you to get in.
I get in.
I trust you are able to hold your breath for a reasonable amount of time.
Guess we're gonna find out.
And as you get in, you notice this is salt water. Like this is like it feels like seawater. Like it's and so he nods and he consults some things as you wait for his signal and he says if you're interested in the scientific perspective, all improvement from a scientific perspective comes at the cost of numerous failures.
Should be pretty damn good right about now. So I've made a few.
Right. Take a breath. You will need to be fully submerged.
And dip under.
Okay. One of the assistants kind of puts his hand in and just gently, not like hard, but gently kind of holds you down so you don't float back up. And the rest of you see Ariziah go through very quickly, very efficiently, muttering out incantations, occasionally making some marks in the thin line around the tub, kind of inward, kind of brushing some of it into the water. And then he reaches in and he takes his finger and he starts drawing on the surface of the water, and you actually see indentations on the water itself as he starts quickly drawing symbols on the water. He then kind of cocks his head for a moment and he gestures for you to come over. I've even had a stroke of genius. Come. And he...
I limp over.
Yeah, he does. And with his other hand, you see that kind of golden thread appear again. And he reaches down from your feet. From your feet. And then very carefully and precisely does a few strokes through the surface of the water. And then he waves his hand and all of it kind of disappears, and you actually see all the powder kind of goes outward, and he kind of brushes himself off and then nods to the assistant who releases you. Come up. The moment your face exits the water, it's like exiting into another person. And suddenly the memories of your deal and the memories of everything that's happened since then come crashing back. The memories of your family, the memories of your order and why you're in Lyrandil in the first place. The memories of your brother following you from there to Lyrandil and joining the rebellion. Basically always looking up to you and everything like that, and kind of struggling. You could see he was struggling with you always being better than him at most things. And there's just a lot to process from all of this all at once. The fact that you realize, you remember now, you had a blood vendetta against the Ruby Judge. and try to process that versus like how you interacted with her and how you felt about her and everything. And it's, you remember, but the heart doesn't compartmentalize that well.
Yep.
And so there is a lot of craziness happening inside right now.
Yep.
A lot of emotional muck and mix that's happening right now. It is
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Uh-huh. Say what?
She's just trying to Jekyll and hide it and
Yeah.
just like sit on one side and be one guy and then scoot over and be the other
Do
guy.
the Gollum scene from Lord of the Rings.
That
Just
as
like,
well, yeah.
talk over here and then talk over here. And
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
The
That'd be great.
the nature, and he actually talks to the group as opposed to you because you could see you're in it right
Just
now.
like,
And he says
Yeah.
the nature of the creatures affecting him are such that I think neither your group nor myself want to be held responsible for that. So I believe I've successfully misled them, at least for a time. So that should protect
By
us.
tying him
So
in
he
his.
tied-
Yep.
uh-huh.
So you're gonna send him after Cithras?
That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. I like citrus.
Funny way of showing it.
For the most part, I think you've been okay.
Doug's really personally going after you guys for what you've done
I've
to
been
Citrus.
okay. I've been okay. I've not been the worst. Listen, I
Doug
was
said Citrus is
I
my
was not
boy.
the worst of all of us. The way that I treated him. I was kindly. Also, I got him hooked up with what's her face.
Lyric. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't make any. He knows that these fake creatures have cursed you. You have not said anything about the nature of your relationship with
Yeah, that's
them or to
true.
protect any of them.
Uh-huh.
For all he knows, they're bad guys to all of you.
Yeah.
So like he just
Oh, I get it.
It's
he
smart.
was just
It was smart.
redirecting to fake out these creatures that you ran into in the ocean to misdirect them away from himself and you.
No, I know, but like, Asura's like completely like tuned out for most of this, but I just thought it was so fucking funny.
As that's happened, you see a lot of the servants, while this has been happening, have been bringing in items and laying them out on the tables, where you see the items that were promised you. The rolled up carpet, a very nice mantle, the mortar and pestle, which is currently on a cushion in a glass box. That is set out, as well as a very old looking tome.
For you blood magic.
And then he says to one of the servants who just over here, and he's like, "Have they been gathered?" And says, "Yes, sir." Very good. All of the monarch candidates have been gathered in a waiting room just outside the keep. They will be your problem from here on out, but you will need to exit before I can execute the illusion magic faking my death. You also see they have brought out several about this yay-sized chests, about 3 chests of very heavy chests containing the platinum.
What about our?
Actually, 4 chests would be about 2,500 platinum each.
What about our companion?
He will be arriving imminently with the rest of the monarch candidates,
So he will be in the waiting
or
room. as well?
the monarch candidates. He will be arriving.
So he'll be in the waiting room.
Yes.
I just look at Asura after he's like fixed our boys. Just like, is there any? You ice cold right now? What am I getting? I can't read minds right now, so I'm just trying.
Asura has never been less emotive in the face than you've ever seen her. And
Does
we
she?
know-
Do you make eye contact with him?
No. I'm only watching the room around me, and I'm watching him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm over here doing high knees, feeling out my new feet.
They hurt.
Damn it.
I mean,
Your arm still
your
projected?
Yeah, my arms detected.
your shoes do not feel too small anymore, but your feet do hurt. It might take you a little bit of time to get past the pain, but
Probably feel like an old man right now. You got your arm like, ugh, and your feet
Once they're
hurt.
fixed, I'm gonna be the fastest one on the team again.
Now if I get Valen back.
Still 40 feet, man.
Alright.
as I believe our final item of our arrangement, unless I'm missing something.
I do not believe so.
He undoes the top two buttons of his uniform and kind of reaches inside and pulls out a chain necklace and pulls it off, on which is a glass vial with darkfire inside. And he holds it out for whoever's going to take it.
I grab it.
And that is everything you possess.
That is the only contained darkfire I possess.
Insight check.
To be specific, you know enough at this point. Even the Eldrin know, uncontained darkfire you can't really control. Like it's just there. But like, controlled darkfire was the thing that Hadressa and all them were terrified of. Like, that is the thing you found on Greenwood, and now you have from him. Basically, in a contained form, it's terribly. It's far worse because it can be used.
Yeah.
The other darkfire is still incredibly dangerous because they haven't been able to figure out how to put it out, and it apparently burns everything. But this is usable in a lot of crazy ways. But yeah, make an insight check, just to give you further info on how you interpret.
19.
Yeah. Not only that, but you also know from the magic he talked about, he has a lot to lose for lying. So, no, you get the impression still that he's been very truthful about everything.
This isn't part of our deal, so feel free to not answer. Do you know anything about the whereabouts of the World Spider?
I have heard of this being, though only speculated in existence. Certain scholars have speculated that there are beings who seem to influence the fates of various realms, though that knowledge seems to be uncertain enough to be dubious at best, making even if their existence is true, that any information about them to be difficult to believe or take as authoritative.
Just curious. Well, as much as I still dislike you, I appreciate your candor. It's a word for honesty, right? Candor.
Candor.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I thought
Canter is the pace in which a horse.
yeah, I thought I said it wrong, and I was like,
He's still working his life out.
I always
appreciate
like
your
this
candor.
game.
Appreciate the way you pranced around the room. Indeed. I will confess, upon your entry into this room, I did not expect for such a rational outcome. But I am glad to be proven wrong. As I said, any scientific improvement comes at many failures. I only hope that you will indeed prove Morthag wrong and prove that your usage of all of this enormous wealth and power will be indeed utilized for the good of humanity and all the other mortal races.
Six months.
He doesn't seem fazed.
okay. Well, wait for our old friend.
Very well. My servants will lead you down to the relevant building.
My feet really hurt, so I kind of put my arm around Enthris to see if she'll let me lean on her.
Yeah, she will. She'll help you. Help you walk pretty easily.
Yeah. She's stronger.
As soon as we're out of ear distance from Ariziah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna look to you and be like, "You're gonna call somebody right now because we can't take all of these children with us."
Well, they're not all children. I'm assuming.
That's not what I mean by children.
Oh.
I can't take them all with me, and these people need safety. You just put them all in our hands.
I
I
just.
don't know what to do with them.
Call my friend.
Are you trying to send them to resistance? The sand resistance that we started?
No, I'm calling my boyfriend with the dragon.
Ah, okay. I'm like,
You want us to send all of them to him?
No, I need somebody to take these people.
really, the only thing I was interested in is the two with the darkfire.
I get it, but you just put the safety of 21 people in our hands.
Yeah,
And I'm not abandoning most of them for the two.
Okay.
Because these people are fucked up in many different ways. And the only person I know right now who has access to anything that can help people with psychological damage is what is left of the resistance.
They took care of Segu.
They did. So, hopefully they can help them.
Then call Cebu, so call somebody. Someone needs to take care of these people.
I would have called Lenore.
No, Adria's dead.
We
We don't know.
We don't know that.
So, question.
He did ask you to remove his name from the book.
Well, question, because it doesn't specify in my notes for my book that if somebody dies, if their name fades from my book.
I don't think it does, no.
But it doesn't say that it doesn't. Like, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
can I just keep a dead person's name in there forever? Until I cross it out?
I think, if that's the way I understand it, yeah.
Okay. Like, because I've read it and it doesn't really clarify.
Yeah, but he did ask you to remove it
Do
after.
all the leaders,
after you
like the
guys
rebellion
basically
leaders, all of our
execute the
mentors and
mission.
stuff, do they?
Yeah,
What's
like,
their
start the
understanding of
mission.
I plan to. I was
Like,
just
they
curious
know.
on if
I don't
somebody
know.
dies,
We
if
know.
the name goes away.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But that's irrelevant because we're taking the Darkfire kids with us, right? That's what you
Yeah.
said?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I call up a mentor and be like, okay, all the monarchs are coming. They're like, what? What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I have no idea.
Okay.
what they know.
Yeah. Just Cody's asking. All of our like mentors, the head honchos of like the rebellion. What was their understanding of Darkfire, monarchs?
I don't think they knew much about Darkfire. They knew that monarchs were like weird servants of the kingdom that were appearing and were just, devastative people, like way beyond anything they've seen before. And didn't know what it was or why it was or anything like that. And so that's kind of why they were happy to receive you guys, is like
Or call
mutual
what's her name?
purposes to figure out
I'm
what
gonna
Yeah.
call Talon.
Right? Is that the one that saved
That's my
Enthus?
girl. I'm just calling her because it's.
Oh, I was gonna
No.
say
Oh,
call
Alanya.
save.
No,
Yeah,
it's,
and call save.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
What's her name? Is that her name?
Oh,
The
the,
not
the
Lenore.
one that's like
What's
kind of
it?
semi.
Oh,
Is it not Alanya?
Is it Alanya?
I think it is Alanya.
One who saved Enthus.
I thought about calling her.
Alanya is the one who saved Enthus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
she knows about it
Yeah, call
She's-
her
she's
because
in.
then she'll be able to handle if any of these kids need extra.
though. Okay. Let me just make sure I took a sending because I thought we were fine today. Hold on. Yeah, I did. Okay.
We all did.
Okay, sending to Alanya.
As you're walking with the servants?
Yeah, it's in your mind.
Okay.
Melania Sanoa. We're leaving the Tower of the King's Archmage.
That's a lot.
Archmage is one word.
Oh, thank you.
With some very damaged victims.
You've got 7 left, 8 left.
Can you help? Where are you?
2 more.
Please.
Please. There.
Pretty, please. Please, bye.
Please respond.
Fire. Fire. Looking forward to hearing from you. From the IT crowd. He sends an email to the fire department because he couldn't remember the new phone number.
108.
Yeah, 999-86999. 119-724-3. Something. It was something like that. Yeah, no, it was the most insane.
I've seen that episode a decent amount. It's pretty funny. I forgot about that.
Sorry, just the minute the message, I was like, fire, fire. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Have you escaped the city of Unity? If so, we can meet. At the lake near Smallflower, a town to the north of the city.
Alani said that if we can get out of Unity, she can meet us north of here.
No more. Because I'm now looking at the people that are walking with us. Do I get a sense that they're like listening in?
Well, you said it's are you sure it's in your mind?
Yeah, I think it's like the nature. I think you could do it verbally and then hear it verbally, or you could do mind, and I think it's like the creature hears the message in his mind, recognizes and answer in a like manner.
So return it in their mind because they received it in their mind.
Yeah, I guess they would know you cast a spell because there's a verbal component.
That's
And
fine.
somatic and everything, yeah.
That's fine.
But it doesn't really say you verbalize the message like in message.
Okay, then when I see that you got the message back, I'm just gonna... Don't say anything right now. What do I need to do?
Get us out. Take us north.
Okay. And I'm gonna look at the two of them, or the people that are walking with us. I said, your mouth is forever shut. When it
the
comes to
servants?
us. Yeah.
They don't respond. They're just doing their job.
I don't get a sense that they like have any sort of like ulterior motives or...
They are operating with this, do an insight check.
That's what I've been trying to guess is like, do they have like any sort of like... it's only gonna be like an 11. Like they have any like autonomy?
Yeah.
Are they being possessed to do
Yeah,
things?
you don't get the impression of like mental like effects, like anything like that. They seem cognizant. They seem conscious. They seem,
We haven't made it there yet.
you know,
Okay. I thought it was
there.
like
They do
there,
seem
like we were meeting
focused
him there.
and attentive in the sense that they just seem efficient. Like they are very well trained and very focused on who they serve. They are not. You don't really get the zombie feeling or anything like that, or nor do you get the sort of fear that you can almost smell on like slaves. These just seem to be people who work for him and are just very good at what they do and very good as assistants.
Okay.
They are just, they don't really respond to you, probably out of duty, and you would guess they're probably more afraid of him than you. If they were afraid. Not fear is
Yeah.
not the word, but you know what I mean. Like they're,
Yeah.
you're not who they serve.
Yeah.
So they're just,
Yeah, I just wanted to get a sense that they were being like.
not that you can
manipulated.
tell. So, they lead you down a long series of downward stairs. And then eventually through, and you can kind of see a window where it looks like you would guess you're pretty high above the city and like maybe midway down the keep. And then they like open a door and you feel just this kind of weird shifting feeling as you walk through the door. Then they lead you through another room or two and then open the door and you find yourself out on the bottom level of the city streets. They then lead you through the streets out of the keep and down a little ways to some buildings that you would know seem to be backed up to the abandoned areas of town. And they lead you a couple blocks out from the keep into what looks like what was a pretty sizable house at one point with like a garden out back, like a walled garden out back, but hasn't been touched in years. You know, they lead you in back, and inside, kind of in the larger kind of living room of this house, you see over 20 candidates in front of you, including one that you recognize, little more than a pile of flesh in the corner. The guy that you saw at the gala. And you see a mix. Some of them don't even seem to know you're there. Some of them are, like one or two of them are kind of rocking back and forth on their, sitting down or on their heels or anything like that. One of them is kind of standing in the corner with their back to you, and a couple of you kind of look up, kind of glance up in curiosity. A couple of them are watching you like hawks, like an intense focus. You kind of see, kind of down the hallway a little bit and out through a window, like a painless window out into the back garden. You see kind of the bottom half of a seated form of a giant, and you hear just the kind of low rumbling of him mumbling phrases over and over again. You then see one of the servants.
Do they have their files?
Hmm?
Do they have their files of like each of them, like where they were in their, like part 1, part 2, part 3?
You didn't ask for any of that, so.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was different parts. You could
Or
have
for,
added.
like-
I know, but I was, Asura was
Let
not
her be
engaging.
angsty, yeah.
Asura wasn't engaging.
But one of the servants does gather three of the individuals. We'll gather it more as they go stand by the enormously fat guy, and they gather two others. One is a male humanoid figure with wings and kind of this silver and purplish like armor that seems to move with them in a kind of unique way. And another individual who is dressed with like he's got some kind of interesting jagged looking armor on parts of him, and you realize I'm not even sure all of this is armor. It almost looks like parts of him are not his body. Like, it's interesting. Like, and you see on his face either a mask or just something else, but it's a metal with, like, you know, like kind of eye, like these kind of glowing red eye slits on the front, with like these kind of lines down the front where his mouth would be, and like a hood, you know, kind of pulled up. And you see those are two of the ones that are watching you like hawks as you enter. And as they do, the servants walk up and pull out a folded up piece of paper and show it to them with, you can see a little wax seal on it, and says, your service has now been transferred to these individuals. Please serve them as you would any. And folds it up and just hands it to one of you if you want it. You will not need this, but if you like, this should serve as an official record. Those who have completed the process will serve you unquestioningly. The rest did not complete the process. As this is happening, you see the two that the two figures that are standing up, like kind of bow their heads, like kind of waiting for something. You see the fat guy sort of go, and then you see another figure suddenly become visible. And you see Valen in black and red monk robes, kneel down with shaved head, scars across his head and face, and you hear them all say, "What is your will?"
Sarah grabbed the document.
It sounds like that.
Before you can even process this, you see a sudden light outside. As you look outside or step outside, you watch, your eyes go up, and you see suddenly the Ariziah's keep from like midway up to the top, from the top all the way up in like a one long series, explodes, and you feel like sound resonating in your chest, and like the building shake, and you see an enormous fireball lighting up the night and blinding you momentarily. And after you shake it off and things, you can hear lots of shouting in the distance as everybody, you know, is freaking out and everything. As you look up, you see fading around, like you can see it like kind of halfway up, like I said, it's like almost like it's been cut off a little too cleanly for an explosion. And you can see very quickly fading some lit up runes now fading out. And then you hear, as you're all grouped up, kind of taking this in, standing up there, you hear another voice say, "Wow." I gotta say, I did not see how this night was gonna shake out. And you turn and you see a tall, blonde fae figure standing in your midst. And that's where we're gonna cut things off.
No, that better not be the prince.
Summer Prince!
Prince of Spring.
Spring Prince!
Yeah. Farron.
I hate this. I hate this! Sorry, I don't mean to yell. I'm so sorry.
If we fight him, though, we didn't use that many spells.
Right.
Dude, so much.
Hey, we've got Evil Valen here
I've
too,
used-
who's probably gonna kick ass. I'm
Yeah.
just
That
gonna say.
popped
Yeah.
so much crap in my head because
I knew Valen was one of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
I
Well,
knew
I
it
had-
had to be true.
I had a feeling, but the
Too
whole thing is
late.
that means that like we sent the Ruby Judge to go investigate the wrong bad guy, and that it was actually the dude we were after that kidnapped Valen from her, and like So I don't know if there's going to be any consequences.
You do know from Tildwin's notes that he specifically cited him as a problem that he was going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do think that Tildwin is the one who did
Yeah, we
something
did think
with
that at the time, but now we know different, and it's like, shit, and we let the guy go.
Yeah. I would say you probably guess that Tildwin, to get rid of him, gave him to Ariziah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tildwin's still the one that
As a
kidnapped him.
potential.
Okay,
You know, as
okay.
Like that's what I was. That's like the minute you were like he was gone, and then Tildwin was like he's gonna be a problem. I was like that motherfucker probably either killed him or worse, gave him to the wizard to do fuck all with.
Look, all I'm saying is that we've got like 100,000 gold. We've got super magical items, and we have our own army. It's time to enter our villain arc. So we can,
Dude, I was kind of thinking the
We
same. I'm
literally
like,
just made a deal with the devil, like.
I mean,
because when they used to describe all these badasses, like, dude, these people all are bitches. Like, we could just be like, sick 'em. Like,
yep.
I hate everything about this. I hate everything about this.
Wow.
oh.
I hate everything about this.
I honestly didn't expect for you to do it. Like,
Really?
well, I mean, I knew he was going to make a very compelling offer, one that was going to be very painful to walk away from.
I hated him so much.
But like,
I also, as a player, loved it.
I mean, as a player, as a player, I don't give a shit how any of this goes down because it's just really fun to play.
Yeah.
But I was like, Asura was like, no, ma'am.
See, I hope this turns out well, because like this was the
It's gonna
first
turn out
time that
horribly.
Stoic didn't just go off half cocked, and it's gonna backfire and blow up in his face.
I can take responsibility for this.
This is definitely gonna blow up in our face. Everything does. Every action has a repercussion.
I do think that we made
We made a
Ask
cool choice.
Ashton Kutcher, he would know.
like I do think that we made good negotiations.
It's a 20-year-old joke.
Like I said, I
One of
do
my
think we made good negotiations. Like asking him to kill himself or to make it appear so.
Asking him to kill himself.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Like
Fictionally.
you know, and then I thought it was a good choice to take the people. I know you kind of disagreed. and
I think it
it's
was an interesting
responsibility.
choice. No, like Tara does not give a shit. Asura's like that was a dumb choice to take possession of people,
I
especially
agree.
people that you can't do anything to fix.
But I realized when he was describing what his side of the deal was, and he said that he never said, I'm going to stop with the Monarch program.
Yeah, he did.
No. What he said was, by giving you my darkfire, I have thereby ended it.
Yeah.
And the moment he said
AKA
that,
just the necklace.
the moment he said that, I went, he's going to take all of them with him to go continue experimenting on. And that's when I went, we'll take them.
Yeah.
That's the only way it really ends. And you said you would end it.
Yeah.
Because he would have taken all of those bad dudes with him. And they would have been issues later.
I agree
So,
with that.
so like, that's the only reason I did it. It was the way that you described, like, by giving you this necklace,
yeah.
I've there ended it. And it's like, no.
Trying to learn from Fey deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except now we're in position of 20
It's a really interesting interpretation because he was basically just saying like, look, the nuclear bomb is the darkfire integration into people. The safeties is the mind control part.
Yes.
That's what he was trying to say. Like, it was too powerful to just put into people. So he needed safeguards to make sure that those powerful weapons could be controlled. Without the nuke bomb, you don't need the safeties. So like that was his point. Is like I don't need the rest of the program because I don't need the heart of it. I don't have access to the heart of it anymore.
So if I wouldn't have made him, do you think he would have taken all of them with him?
So if the conversation had gone the right way, I guess I will give you this. If you had left him with him, he basically, the ones who had not completed the process, he would have destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were incomplete products, so you just get rid of the remnants of the experiment.
Yeah.
They were not,
Choice then.
you know, it was not worth his time to fix or to figure out what to do with them at that point. Like they were just unsalvageable material at that point. And so he would have just destroyed them. Like the ones that were completed, he could have used still as servants, but like for his own protection or usage, but like the rest of them, you just would have, just like with any experiment, you just clean up and move on.
I'm so emotionally gutted by this episode.
This is such a fascinating turn because it's such a fascinating conversation because it's like it is really complex. It's like he's not like he's not as clearly evil as some of the other things you've encountered, like Indwick, who very clearly is malicious and out to destroy things.
This guy's just a psychopath.
Well, this guy, as far as you can tell, fully believes he's the good guy.
Yeah.
Like he fully believes
like
what
the
he's
Ra's al
doing
Ghul
is
enemy.
for the furtherance
He's
of
like
humanity.
I mean, really.
But it's just
He
a
really
very
is.
atheistic approach to it, and it's a very like, if you're not going to serve the gods, then you get to make the morality, and then all morality becomes subject to the survival and benefit of the human race. So whatever cost you pay for that, that is morality. That is his moral compass, is protecting and furthering the human race, or the mortal race.
Yeah.
So not just humans, but like
Yeah.
mortals.
Yeah.
So he fully believed everything that he was saying. Like, as far as you could tell, he was like, no, I legitimately have no time for your moral childishness. It was just like, you don't even know how to articulate what you're saying. Like, you don't even know how to back up your arguments. I've spent thousands of hours researching and examining this. Where's your study? He just... he legitimately believes you guys were arrogant because you were making these judgments without the intellectual backing to back it up, to stand by it, nor the willingness. He was taking a jab specifically at you guys' unwillingness to engage in the leadership changes you guys had overseen.
Yep.
Which was his point.
Which, I mean, I've called that out before, too. I was like, we're not going to be here for the fallout.
Yeah, it's like you guys
We're all American here. It's fine.
yeah.
I mean, let's not. I'm not here in support of it.
Yeah, it's like you guys killed one king. You've set up a disruption to the power in Tirratha. You've set up a disruption with Prince Deshrian. You've, you are now part of another king assassination mission with Lyrandil, but then you don't want to be part of the...
Nope.
You just want to throw a grenade and leave. That was his point. Is like, you want to make these moral judgments and then swing your sword and not actually step up and take responsibility for the things you're doing.
Correct.
So
He's
that's
not
what's
wrong.
messy about it. Yeah, that's what's messy about it. Is like he's not wrong.
But I think it was a good conversation though when Interest was making a point, like whether you like it or not, you guys actually are leaders. I feel like that's the first time, at least my character has even thought of herself that way. So of course she's not going to step into a leadership role until like she's making decisions like she did tonight.
Yeah.
It's like a shift.
That was
for
not
her.
even something I thought about before this session, because Enthris is a leader. She's a governess. She's just under the king, basically, in terms of authority in Carandia.
That's why I asked her, because I was like, this is a legitimate, like, concern for you.
Yeah, and she knows very well the price you have to pay sometimes to do the right thing, and that it's never... she's, in her opinion, you never can live idealistically. You never can make a completely perfect decision, like a perfectly justified decision. It's always messy to a degree. And it's like, you just try to do the best you can, but like, it's all super complex. There's always going to be, even like, conscription to the army is involuntary, but necessary to the survival of a nation. It's like, she's just sitting there going like, from her perspective, she knows leadership, so she's just sitting there going like, that's just part of leadership. It's a pain, and you don't. It occurred to me that this is the moment she would kind of point out gently to you guys, like, look, you guys don't get to just not pick sides. You don't get to do that anymore because you're way too powerful now. Like, you guys are like, I mean, at level 13 in this world, it's like you're reaching like legendary status. You already are legends in Carandia. Like, you are partaking in world-shaping events, universe-shaping events. You don't get to just be like, I'll do whatever I want, and who cares the consequences? Like, you got to think about these things. That's the price of being great, whether you want to be great or not. You know, that's kind of the tension and the interesting thing to explore.
And So's been living in a delusion for a very long time, and like her delusion got like very abruptly shattered. Like,
Yeah, this is jarring for her.
and I kind of always a little bit strong-armed the group always into kind of taking on my mantle, my idealistic version of how things could be. And it's the first time that I have not been able to pull them back in my delusion.
I'm excited to see what shakes out of that with like how she
I
processes.
am actually going to message you something.
Yeah, how she processes and grows out of that. You know,
I'm going to
Like,
message you something.
that's gonna be interesting.
That
Yeah.
was super good for
There's some
Zenoa.
kind of
sure.
rock to her core right now.
I just thought I think that was really good for Zenoa.
Tune in next week.
Yeah. So, with that, we are going to be heading into the final arc.
Do we want to go off camera before we talk about this?
Yeah, we can. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, we're starting to we're
wrap
a lot
up
of
here.
things
Yeah.
start to wrap up now.
Yeah, and honestly, that session has determined a lot of things that are going to happen in this
Oh.
next thing, because it's like there was a lot of crazy stuff that you guys did in this deal that changes the way things will shake out in the next arc.
I'm scared.
Uh-huh.
I'm so scared.
Cannot wait to see
Yeah.
those consequences
All right.
shake out. Well.
All right. Well, I am very excited. This is a really, really interesting session. I'm really excited to see what comes of it for everybody. Everybody here almost has something to process and think through and, you know, figure out. And not to mention your, you know, reunification with Valen.
That's not valid.
And what you may or may
You
not
gotta
do.
process all your new memories.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been silent the whole time. He has not said a word.
So, heck yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we will be back next week to keep moving forward, see who this Fey guy is that's in your midst, and what you're going to do with all these various levels of sane people that you have and need to get out of a dangerous city that's falling apart.
Yep.
So, lots of stuff for the next episode here. So, we will be back next week to continue on. Well, thank you for joining us. Bye.
Right.
My goodness. Oh my.